Oi, get the checkbook out this summer. Hey, Florian. Oh, art thou Florian? I believe you're looking for a new football club, my mate.
Get the checkbook out this summer. Hey, Florian. How art thou, Florian? I believe you're looking for a new football club, yo, my mate. Manchester, Etihad, Estad. We playing Champions League football next season. How about you take a 2-2 Ryanair jet from Leverkusen to Manchester hotel stay, little 2-2 medical.
300k a week, couple bonuses thrown in there. Ballon d'Or in a couple years, happy days, you wanna go Bayern Munich. Little 2-2 2-1 3E2 by a uni driller. Happy days, we get a new and upcoming star. How about Florian? Florian.
How art thou, Florian?
Alright, my mate Florian, what's the latest word? City flash with the cash, got the deal secured. The Bruce still pinging it, Haaland bangs goals. But heart at the club, still feeling cold. They flex big wins, but vibes don't last. Trophies lined up, but the soul's in the past. Etihad shiny, fans still late. Feels like a show, not a football state. Oi. Get the checkbook out this summer. Hey, Florian. How art thou, Florian? From Leverkusen to Manchester flight. Big boy wages, that Prem delight. Ballon d'Or, yeah, that's the aim. But deep down, bro, it's just a name. Training pitch like a 5-star resort. But energy dry, no real support. Anfield roars, Etihad's on mute. City got shine, but no real roots. Florian, bro, don't be fooled. They dress it well, but the core ain't cool. You want legacy, not just bags. Don't join a team where love just lags. Oi. Get the checkbook out this summer. Hey, Florian.
Banger. I love this song. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another stream. I thought this game would be over, but to be fair, truthfully, deep down, no one really cares about Nations League like that. You get me? Big up to every single one of you guys. Make sure you guys are liking the video on your way in. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel if you're ready to do so. All you incredible, amazing people, we are closing in on 53.2k subscribers. So please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe. Please keep getting involved in the chat. Keep letting me know your opinions. You get me? Get stuck in the chat because you have a lot to discuss. You have a lot to talk about. We already talk about, real important topics for debate today. First of all, the Wirtz versus Cherki comparison continues. It's just not going. I don't know why, despite the fact one guy is obviously clear. Rodrygo is headed to Arsenal, allegedly. Gittens is Chelsea bound. And, we're going to be talking about other clubs as well. Anyway, joining me first and foremost, the fraudulent Australian represented in the Canadian continent. Man like Martin is in the building. Hi, Martin.
What's happening, bud?
You good?
Thanks for the intro. Yeah, I'm multinational.
You watching this shit?
What's
you
up?
Watching the Nations League?
I was at the pool, but yeah, I've heard it's extra time now, right?
Ooh, there's a fight. Let's go. Punches thrown. Heated fight. Big up to you, Martin. Joining me next, everyone's favorite rage baiter on YouTube. You get me, just out here rage baiting everyone, which is why we need him on the stream to rage bait. Hopefully everyone, not myself. Man like Wolfie is in the building. How doing, Wolfie?
Me?
Who else is the rage baiter with you here?
Astaghfirullah, man.
You're the biggest rage baiter on the whole platform. Allow it.
I just give my opinion, man. If you don't like it, you don't have to rage about it. Just disagree.
Give my opinion, hype.
Streams, man. You liking your chat, by the way?
Yeah, I can't believe Forest fans are telling me liver no pull when we just pulled the biggest talent out of Germany.
Oh, is he signed?
Yeah, he's signing.
He's signed. Shirt been lifted, yeah?
Yeah, he's signing. He's coming. Don't worry about it.
Oh, signing.
Yeah, he's signing. We're just agreeing.
Signing. The window closes in like 36 hours, doesn't it?
Bro. And then he's mad.
A
When I
lot
call
can
him
happen in that mini,
You
little
really are a
hiatus
rage
period.
baiter. That's why you deserve another season of Gibbs White. Anyway, he does not deserve another season of Sanchez. So we're going to talk about Mike Manyan bids. You get me? Anyway, the man, the myth, the legend is back today. Not creating videos, but talking football. Man, like Roberto RSM in the building. How do you doing, RSM?
Yeah, big up, man. Listen, good times. It looks like we're gonna see, a real goalkeeper at the bridge. First time in a long time, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. But they keep rejecting the bids, though. So
It'll get done. Don't worry. They're desperate.
Fair.
We'll get into it.
And last but not least, the biggest fraud in this whole stream today. Complete rage baiter, complete AI, moose herder, maple syrup enjoyer. Man like Vator Games is in the building.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Vator Games.
See? His background in itself is rage bait. I swear to God, this guy is just... You're just so good at this. I swear.
That's
You're
an
really
entrance.
good.
That's an entrance.
Wow.
Yeah,
I just
Vator.
noticed what's at the bottom. That's some nice coat, man.
Yeah. Guess what? I'm gonna cover that quote now. Yeah, hold that. Hold that.
You can try. You can try.
You're such a rage baiter, honestly. You're unbelievably good at rage bait. It's just unreal. I have to give you credit, bro. I have to give you credit.
There's no rage.
Anyway, Sad's Football Corner in the description. Give him a subscribe. Forest Fan TV. Give him a subscribe. RSM TV. Give him a subscribe. And Vator Games. Give every single one.
Why are you
of them
saying sad? I don't see sad.
Yeah, but Martin doesn't have a
He
channel.
promotes
innit?
Saad for me. I'd like to change that. I don't want any more association with Saad. He's too
I was
negative.
gonna say that's harsh, man.
Who you want to promote then?
That's smart.
Let's go with Tunnel TV. Oh yeah, now my people. It's your light skinned man from some other land.
Well, like Kunle.
Good value. I love those guys.
Kunle. Yeah, Kunle is a celebrity in Nigeria. He was in like the president's parade or something a week ago. It's mad. Kunle has connections.
He's a big deal.
Yeah, I'll put on TV for you. You don't want to be associated with Saad? That's up to you. First. Anyway, big up everyone locked in. There's already 250 people in here. We ain't even started the stream yet. Love and appreciation to every single one of you guys. And for once, we're not going to start with any City or Liverpool topic. I actually want to start off with Chelsea topics today. So I want to go to you, Roberto, obviously, as our Chelsea representative. Today, we want to talk about Gittens. We want to talk about Manyan. Obviously, just like probably, I would say 2 days ago, I think it was now,
Gittens.
that the whole situation with Gittens was released. I think the price tag is mad. We obviously all thought maybe you'd pay a bit more for it. What's your thoughts currently on your current transfer activities from Chelsea perspective?
Yeah, I think in terms of Gittens, we're just desperate to get somebody in on the left wing because currently for the Club World Cup, we're looking at Tyreek George as our only left winger. So I don't mind it. I think for me, I think 60. What Dortmund was asking for, the original asking price 60 million. I think that's outrageous. I think that's ludicrous. The kid has done absolutely nothing in his career to be worth 60 million. I think something around 30 to 40 with what we're asking for. I think that's a bit more reasonable. I think that's better. I think that's good business, and it's looking like we already agreed personal terms of Gittens. Looks like the agent and the player are asking Dortmund, to want to leave, trying to push them to lower the price. And I probably think we're gonna get it across the line. I'm not too worried about it. However, if that's our only left wing signing, then I'm upset about it, right? In terms of it being another option off the bench, a depth option, I don't really mind it. But if Gittens is the only left winger, or that's the quote unquote important winger that we as Chelsea fans were promised, then I'm going to be a lot more upset because that's not the level of what we were expecting from getting Champions League, right? We got Champions League, and we were told that if that was the case, we were going to get some bigger signings, a lot more, premium investment into the team, and I'd like to see that. So again, I'm going to hold out on the Gittens thing and crashing out about it until the window's over, because there's no point to get upset when there's still the entire summer left.
But that's your profile, isn't it, that you're going for, man? So Champions League or not, they're going to change the profile settings. Like Kids FC.
The thing is, no, the issue is not the price, right? I mean, a lot of Chelsea fans were saying, like, as you can see with PSG, the issue isn't necessarily the age, it's buying the best in bracket, right? So if you're gonna go into a certain age bracket, then at least try to go for the best quality within that age bracket. That's kind of why we've been upset, because there have been better options that we could have gotten in these past 2 years within our age constraints that we didn't do, or that we didn't get across the line.
But why? I don't get it. Like, you weren't going for Gyökeres, will you?
Probably not.
What's the upper limit? Because he's 26, isn't he now? 26, something like that.
We're probably looking like 26 is the upper limit, because I think Tosin was 26, but he was a free transfer.
They got Delap and Jackson, right?
Tosin. A lot of familiar names. I think I remember them from my academy.
Yeah, bro. Shout out.
But don't you as fans look at it and think, what's wrong with the 28-year-old? What's wrong with getting, like, who would you rather have up front at Chelsea?
I would put it to you this way about Gyökeres. If Gyökeres was so amazing, right? If he was so perfect, then why is almost every club treating him as a second-hand option? Clearly, there's something that we don't know.
No, but let me put it to you a different way. Would you rather have Delap or get Visser in, who's 28?
I mean, me personally, I'd rather get Wissa, but that's not our model. So it is what it is.
Yeah, but I'm saying the model's stupid. The model is literally stupid, because either you're doing this model because you're looking at yourself as a selling club down the line, trying to build these profiles up to sell them for more than you're buying them. Some of them you've bought for stupid amounts. Or you actually buy and invest in a Chelsea, who are a historic club, who have won a lot of stuff, who actually buy players to win stuff for the now. This is what I don't get. Like, why not go get a Visser?
So you want me to explain it to you?
Go on.
Okay, so with the way that the club model is supposed to work, right, is we buy this young talent, right, and the best talent we keep within the team. We do not sell, right? If you don't live up to Chelsea standard, we sell you for profit because we bought you for super cheap, right? It's another way to make sure that we constantly have a pool of young talent that we can pull from, but also use as bargaining chips within the market. Like when we're talking about Ekitike, it's also been reported that, you know, we could potentially be looking to sell some Strasbourg players that we brought into Strasbourg as a bargaining chip to lower the price for Ekitike, right? And as we've been seeing with PSR issues, right, we've seen like basically to clubs sell each other academy kids for like 20-25 million, you know, to get some money on the books to do this type of stuff. So the way that I look at it is we're future proofing. And like I said, a selling club would be our best players are up for sale. Somebody could come in, for example, and get Caicedo. Somebody could come in and get Palmer, but that's not the case whatsoever. Nobody can do that. We lock the, if you have proven yourself, if you are a good player, we don't sell you. That's not a selling club.
I'm not saying
we constantly have a rotating.
I'm saying from the 1.6 billion you've spent, probably 500-600 million of that has been on these Man City academy players. Let's be real. In the majority of the instance,
no shame in saying that.
Yeah, it's good academy. I get it.
It's not even the majority of instances. Like it's really not. If you look at our transfer history, it's just the fact that I think Palmer was a big hit. I think Lavia is a good hit, right? Delap, I think we got Delap more so because it was what we would consider a market opportunity, right? And then Gittens, that's it, pretty much. Like I would say those are the four that I would say the four that.
And how much is that? How much is that?
That's Tosin was, so I think Tosin was a free, Delap was 30, Palmer was 40. I think Lavia was the most expensive at around 50. So I think
you're already looking at just prices. 200 mil on 4 players where Palmer's
is that not, but I thought they were all.
No, but we're talking about the profile of the players. You're talking about bringing academy players out, right? And out of those 4,
those aren't academy players. They were like established players when we bought them. It's not like we got them when they were like 17.
Palmer was established at Man City. Cole Palmer was established in Man City.
No, I'm not saying established in the sense like they're no longer academy kids. They were kids that were at least in the first team. In the case of Lavia, he was already playing at Southampton. In the case of Delap, he had already played in the Premier League. In the case of Tosin, the same.
And
Palmer is really the only one that you could argue. Yeah, Palmer won. But you could argue.
Yeah, but you're just talking about the City players. Let's spread out. We're joking about the City players.
Because you asked about the City players. And I said,
no, I made the joke about the City players, bro. Come on, let's be real here, right? But there's so many of these young players that I know, like last season before, loads of Chelsea fans hadn't heard of half these players that were turning up for 30 million, for 25 million, and all this, right? Basically, the philosophy, let's be real, is throw shit at the fan and throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. That's what the philosophy is.
No, that's not the case at all.
It is.
No, it's not. So the way that it works is, right, we see this young talent and we buy them before it blows up. Right? Before they do, like, for example, Santos. Do you know where we got Andre Santos from?
From
do you
Brazil.
know where we got him from? No, but do you know where in Brazil?
I can't remember what club.
We pulled him out. No, you can't remember what club because we pulled him out of the second division of Brazilian football.
Okay.
And you can go on Fabrizio right now. Fabrizio, you can go look. Fabrizio said there are a multitude of clubs that were interested this summer to buy him for a high price, and we're not willing to sell because we want him to be part of the
Okay.
first team.
So
And,
again,
and for example, but that's my point. So my point is, you explained what's going on. We are looking at these players, right? And we're building a worldwide network in a lot of different countries. We're scouting these young players. If we look at the underlying numbers, right, and we have the scouts and they watch them play, and there seems like there is some promise there, we want to buy them, right, before they blow up, before they get bought by somebody. So the reason is, right, a club like Brighton, right, they are a selling club, or a club like Dortmund, right, they buy the young talent, they develop them for a year, and then they sell them on for ridiculous prices to top teams. So the theory is, let's cut out the middleman. Let's buy the young talent ourselves, get a sister club, get a multi-club model, develop them within our own system, and then if the team needs them, we now have a pool of players that we can pull from. And if it doesn't work, we can sell them on for a profit because we bought them cheap regardless. And then they were brought up within the European football system.
So name me 5 of these players that no one had heard of when Chelsea signed them that are now moving for big bucks. Or have moved for big bucks.
Well, a lot of them that we are buying. Well, a lot of them haven't moved for big bucks yet.
Okay, so
because they're still
it's been 3 years now. Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Yeah, but that's the point. If you buy them at 8, if you buy them at like 16, 17, for example, some of the biggest purchases we made, right? Kendrick Pies, right? Esteval. This is just going to be their first year in European football because we bought them 3 years ago or 2 years ago. So they haven't even, again, you haven't even seen the outcome. We haven't been there yet. And then what you want me to say? Like, oh, it's been. Because it hasn't been enough time yet.
So how much
they
time
haven't even gone through the system yet.
Wait? This is what I don't get.
No, but Andre Santos, hold up. Andre Santos, hold up. Andre Santos,
saying
Andre Santos is the first. For example, Andre Santos is the first. Nanasi, we got for Strasbourg, right? And now it's looking like there's a lot of clubs in for him. Frankfurt want to buy him, and we might use him as a bargaining chip for Ekitike.
Is Ekitike still happening?
Yeah, we're still in for Ekitike. But again, we don't want to play the 100 million valuation, so we're looking for solutions. And one of the solutions might be, right, we give them a player one way, and we get a player back another way.
But would it not make more sense? I don't know what you guys think. Like, I think you've needed a striker since who was your last decent strike? Costa.
Probably.
But
that was under. But even under the Roman regime though, like we had a ton of misses in the striker position. Like people forgot how much money we spent on strikers that really weren't worth it.
Yeah, but again, you didn't ever really go for a gunman, man. There's been plenty of strikers that have been available.
We got Lukaku and we got screwed over, bro.
All right, Lukaku, but that's one in like the last 6-7 years, whatever it's been, all right, bro. Like so much that I think.
For example, the new ownership came in. They got Sterling. How did that go for us?
Huh?
The new ownership came in, right? Before we had sporting directors, before we had a plan. Bully bought Sterling, put him on ridiculous wages. How did that go for us?
Oh, you
I
gave
feel
him
like Chelsea, they don't have necessarily like a plan. I feel like they just buy players, and if they don't work, you can sell them or move them to Strasbourg, get another one. I saw a tweet that said that you guys had bought 10 keepers and spent 220 million on keepers in the last 3 years or something. Like
they got 8 on the books. 8.
It's just kind of like a throw something at the wall. If it doesn't stick,
7.
Let's try again. That's my theory.
It's throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. That's the
I'll say this about Gittens. You know, we were having this conversation about Chelsea, I think a week ago, even with I think RSM was there as well. And I think Chelsea could close in the gap on Arsenal and could close in the gap on City and could become themselves like a title contender. But I'll be honest with you, I don't even think Wolfie's rage baiting with this one. I actually agree with him. I don't think signing Gittens is going to be the type of signing that like gets you over the line or makes you any closer, because guess what? Gittens is also like Gittens need like 3-4 years to be that guy. Like he still needs such a long time. He's very raw. I think this season he had like a run of like 14-15 games without scoring, and then he broke his duck like 1 week. You know, you could do that at Dortmund because no one's really watching Bundesliga like that, but you can't do that at Chelsea because people will bring it up. Like people will bring it up, whether it be media, whether it even be us streamers. Like we're not gonna let go of the fact that a player went 15 games without a goal. We're gonna mention that forever. We mentioned it with Giroud. We mentioned that with Peter Crouch, growing up. We mentioned with so many players. Like this has never been a thing that's not mentioned. So you go to Chelsea, you go 15 games without a goal, people will be speaking about it. So I look at like this Gittens signing. I don't think it makes you better, but I think with Mike Maignan, I think it's the opposite. I think Mike Maignan, immediate improvement, proven goalkeeper, literally won the Serie A experienced enough. In the words of Mourinho, there is the young, and then there is the young. He's not young like a kid, you know. He actually is young, but has experience at the same time. I think he solves your goalkeeping crisis. I think the only thing that so far I think Chelsea fans should not be excited about is the Gittens signing. And by the way, guys, speaking of excitement, can we get the likes up, chat? We cannot be on not even 100 likes yet. Let's everyone please hit the like button, subscribe. Fonzie says Nuno Mendes is next level. My country's right back. I think you wrote that by mistake. I think you mean left back, but I do agree. Nuno Mendes is next level. It's funny this because when I said Nuno Mendes was better than Robertson, they laughed at me, and I don't even have an objective response in a nice way to that. So
you all laughed at me. Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now, are you?
I hate that prick.
Just saying. Yeah, but we're just talking about the meme in it. So with the Chelsea thing, you're kind of making one signing that can help elevate you in Mike Maignan now, and the other one, which is Gittens, I think will need time.
If I put it to you this way, Gittens is a Sancho Mudryk replacement. He's just meant there because we have zero left wing options, legitimately zero.
So you could have just kept Sancho for less money.
No, but the thing is,
I agree with that.
Hold on.
I don't think
first things first. No, and I agree. The thing is, first of all, Sancho, we wanted Sancho to stay. He wanted like 250K wages. I don't know what you want us to do. We said you can stay if you fit within our wage structure. He said no. It is what it is.
But he's not good enough to stay either. Like I don't
Sancho
know.
wanted as much money.
I think I wouldn't have minded. I wouldn't have minded Sancho
combined. By the way. Yeah,
he wanted both. He wanted to be the highest paid, pretty much, right next to Reece James, which is insane. My point being though, like Sancho was just going to like be a good bench option. I would have minded off the bench as a starter. I agree, and the same thing with Gittens. Like I said, Gittens as a starter is underwhelming, and I would crash out. However, the window's not over yet, and I have to see who else is bought in because we have to get 2 left wingers in. So I'm gonna have to wait and see. That's it. Like I wasn't upset, for example. Huh?
Is Madueke going to be sold or something, or is he?
Madueke, we don't use Madueke as a left winger. Almost, he wants to play as a right winger.
Okay.
So all we have right now going into this is basically Tyreek George, which is why I'm saying we need 2 left wingers, and which is why we're so desperate to get Gittens across the line, so we don't go into the Club World Cup with
How much
academy
you paying for Gittens?
So we're looking. It looks like we want to do around 40 instead of the 60 that we were quoted, like around 30, 40. We put in a bid of 30, it got rejected. We're probably going to do like 35 plus add-ons, something around there.
Yeah, but the problem I've got with the Chelsea fan base almost on this is without realizing you are turning into Arsenal. This is now becoming phase 3 of the process. And this is the Chelsea fan base. From the Chelsea mates that I've got, I've never accepted anything but success and success now. Yet I feel all the Chelsea fans are now trying to convince us that this project is the right way to go. We buy him young. Exactly what you were saying. I've heard that so many times, and it just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not saying this as a slur to Arsenal. I'm just saying legit. I think you're sleepwalking into this Arteta phase thing, and you guys are trying to almost validate it to yourself that it's okay. It's just crazy.
Okay, well, respectfully, again, I really haven't spoken to you, so you don't know my opinions on the topic. I've already said next season, I want to be challenging, right? If we look at Maresca and he can't do that, sack Maresca, right? If we keep going window after window, right, and we're this close, because the thing with Arsenal, right, and their owners, Arsenal have been this close to winning so many times, and they don't make signings to get it across the line, right? If for example, if Maresca doesn't get us across the line, sack him, right? If the board don't make the correct signings, then I want the board out. I want the owners out. I want the sporting directors to change, whatever needs to happen in order for us to win, right? However, what I am saying is I think a lot of people act like what we're doing is exactly what you said. Like we're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what happens. Like it's going to be an absolutely
Who's the left winger
right?
you want, Roberto? Who's like your top choice?
Me personally, like if Rodrygo becomes available, I think we should throw the kitchen sink at it to get him into the club, right?
Okay, let's say Rodrygo's unattainable. Give me a more
the left wing market. What?
Give me like a more realistic name. Give me someone a bit more realistic. Like, let's say, would you be happy with Lookman?
I'd be happy with Lookman. I would be happy with, like, for example, like a Leao. I think a lot of people, I think Leao could probably do bits.
So let's ask Wolfie a question then, because
for the same wage structure.
Vator, just before I forget, let me just ask Wolfie.
No. Rodrygo. So I'll say this real quick for Vator there's been a lot of talk that there's a couple players within our wage structure that would be willing to break it for, right? One of them would be like Isak, for example. Another one would be Rodrygo. So there are people people who are in the knows that say like there are players that we would break the wage structure for, and Rodrygo is one of those players.
Okay, let me ask Wolfie this question. So everything you criticize Chelsea, I agree with, but we have to take what Roberto said at face value. He's saying 2 wingers. If they sign Gittens and let's say Lookman, would you change your mind then?
No, because they still need a striker. I think they need
No, I'm saying about just that position specifically. So they're getting one young buck.
It's not even that. It's the fact that you have to look at what they've been saying. Let's remember when Maresca got put in charge, he was told he did not need to get top 4 this season. He was told he needed to get it by next season. So technically, he's ahead of where they wanted to be. Now, does that expectation change next season because he achieved it? And should they be pushing for a title race or not? Or will they say, well, we're still going to be happy with Champions League? I think that's going to be the fascinating thing to see, because if they come out and say, yeah, we're this was our target still, we're still going for this same target, then you literally are turning into Arsenal top 4 FC with that. But if they I expect Chelsea to buy these players for them. I just think the model is stupid. The model is stupid. You spend 1.5
I
billion.
agree with you if all they sign is Gittens level signings, but if they sign someone with experience, like if they sign four Gittens, I'll be like, okay, yes.
Yeah, but you're right. Lookman would be perfect, but he's 27.
Yeah, but if they sign like Gittens and like Lookman, I can't say that that's a bad.
Yeah, but he's Superchats. They're not going to buy someone that old.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying if you never know.
Maybe. Oh, look, if they break it.
By the way, and what if this is a real possibility because our owners are absolutely in love with Jorge Mendes? Gittens Leao, we get Mañana across the line. Then what?
Good for you.
Yeah,
I don't really care what you do.
No, but the point is exactly who Sam's asking, right? If that were to be the case, would you then change your mind?
Yeah, but then the narrative would be that you've changed your model. So why didn't they stick to the model?
No, but the model. Hold up. The model is the model is we buy the young players, right? However, if we do see market opportunities, right, or if there are positions that we need players in, because remember, under this ownership, we also bought Enzo for 110, right? We bought Caicedo for 125, 120, something around there.
Yeah, but
but that's what I mean. That's what I mean, though. Like Lau falls within the age profile, right? Mike Maignan is a market opportunity, so we are for market opportunities, and this has been a part of the model forever. We are willing to break the model for it if we think that it is a good opportunity to go in for.
Yeah, but a keeper being older than the age profile doesn't really mean shit, man. Like keepers go on to like they're 35, 36. You know what I'm saying? Like breaking your model for a keeper is no big deal to me. If you went and got Lookman, I'd be like, that's a good signing, but it's also showing that.
But the thing is, that's the thing is, I don't think we would get Lookman. That's why I say I think somebody like Rafael Leao.
Yeah, no, we're talking hypothetically here.
Yeah, no, I'm saying hypothetically, I do think that Rafael Leao is probably closer to reality, and it fits within the structure. It fits within the age bracket.
Wow, Rafael Leao.
Can you stop mentioning my club, please, Wolfie? There's no need to get Arsenal.
Sorry, bro. It wasn't even a slur at them. It was just they just need to realize what direction they're walking into.
Well, I think they're not doing the same model as us. Like we did a stage where we bought a bunch of young players. We bought like 8 or 9 at the same time, and since then we've been trying to add experienced players. We're not buying and selling. We're not doing all the sort of crazy stuff.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying about you either, because I know your stance. I'm saying I'm starting to see that justification from, the Arteta ins where they're like, oh, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, so 4. I'm seeing that in the Chelsea fan base now. You know what I'm saying? Where they're like, yeah, but we're buying them young because it's a longer term project and what have you. They're doing it a different way. I agree. But I'm talking about the mentality of the fan base right now. Is very strange.
They don't have any expectation to title challenge, and I don't think people realize there's a step between top 4 and actually challenging for the title, which is like a massive gap. It doesn't look that much, but in points, it might not be that much. But being that consistent along the league is really hard to do. Like we had our almost best season ever for Arsenal. We got 89 points, right? Like that was hard. That was us stressing out, and people think that that's just going to be easy. They're going to step up to a 90-point level. I think that's crazy. I think Chelsea are in a 70-point level. What did you guys get? 69 points or something? To finish the season. You've got to get to the 80s. You got to crack 70 first, and then crack 80s, and then think about the 90s. Like there's a long way to go for these teams.
Yeah, but have they slowed it? Is my point.
Yeah, but Chelsea have shown, Martin, I agree with you, but Chelsea have shown signs of it by being 2 points behind the league leaders in December. So they've shown to an extent.
Halfway through this, it's the quarter.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm only saying to an extent. Only to an extent.
It was
I
it was
said
a
only
9-game
to
it was a
extent.
9-game slump that really killed us. That was it. Like it was a 9-game run where
I'm
we
saying
did
they
really,
showed
really
it.
poor. They killed us.
That's what
Bro,
I'm
that's
saying.
nearly a quarter of the season. You can't say that's it.
No, but that's what I mean though. Like that 9-game slump, right? You can look at it and say, okay, why did that happen, right? We had no striker, right? We had wingers who couldn't score. So these are things that could be easily, like what I'm saying, like could be easily addressed. And all of a sudden, next season, with those two positions fixed, because even with Sanchez in net, we ended up being the third best defense in the league. So we're just a couple signings away. So I agree with what I'm saying. Like there doesn't need to be a massive jump. Like we were 6th, and this season, if this last summer we had gotten in a real striker, we might have been we might have been near the whole thing.
Season defensively on their for there should be City were nowhere near their level. Like there's a lot of fugazi stuff going on there. I would not really like to use that as a yardstick.
And speaking of Arsenal, this is the perfect segue. Let's talk about Arsenal. You get me? Beautiful segue right here. Big up to everyone locked in. Big up to Fonzie who says, Vator, did you get that soundboard built into your internal hard drive, or is it an external piece you carry attached to yourself?
That's what.
Listen, AI is rapidly developing nowadays, man.
Canadian violence. You have anything to respond to the Canadian brother here? Why are you saying hi like you're at you're on stage, like about to
Here, I got you.
He's spinning the wheel.
Vader, here.
No,
Vader,
like
I got
he's
you
about
with
to drop like the coldest rock and roll.
Vader,
song.
I got
like,
you with the premium soundboard. Here you go, bro. I got you with the premium soundboard.
I'm ready.
There you go, bro. Clear and
That's a real
crisp.
soundboard right
There you
not
go.
that 144p crap. Anyway, this
I
game's
gotta turn
going
the volume up.
to penalties now anyway, but no one cares about the Nations League. Anyway, big up to everyone locked in. Make sure guys are liking the video. Make sure guys are subscribing. We are going to be moving on to talk about Arsenal. You get me? So big up to all of you guys. And please go subscribe to all these guys' channels. They're all in the description. And show them the same love that you guys showed me. Martin is not on YouTube, but we put Tunnel TV because he gave up on Saad. You get me? So that's what we're here to talk about. You get me? Saad can hold that. Fraud.
Yeah, I gave
business
him enough
owner.
free promotion for like a year or whatever. So
Yeah, enough free promotion. You should get paid now.
He's on
Big
his
up
own.
everyone in the chat as well. Big up everyone. So let us talk about the Arsenal. Links to Rodrygo, Kepa is coming, and links to Sesko. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Talk to me, my brother. What do you think of this whole Arsenal window so far? How do you feel about it? Do you feel excited? Talk to me.
I feel like the window hasn't because we're not in the Club World Cup. I don't think my club is moving crazy like these guys. So it's a lot slower than everyone wanted. And the more people sign players, the more stress level raises in my fan base, which is already generally around a 9 out of 10 on any good day. So
Is that not including you?
It's funny
Martin
because it's
avoid
true.
the,
Anybody who's on Twitter sees it, so he's not wrong.
Yeah, it is funny because it is true. That is
we
nice.
laugh because
Like,
it's true.
he's
Yeah,
kidding.
it's a good reading of the situation.
Yeah.
let's go.
So wait, Martin,
one.
hold on. Are you not one of them?
Stressed
No.
out?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Are you not one
He
of them
just
that
said
thinks
when
they
he
should be
joined.
moving sooner?
You
That
didn't
they
hear
should
what
be-
he said when he joined, Vator. He was by the pool.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like someone who's stressed. Just say.
Well, everyone's like talking about this, like, the Berta Arteta war, and blah blah blah. It's just all bollocks. Like, there's a lot of pressure points to my fan base, and you guys know how to press them expertly. So I respect that, and I understand the game is the game. I mean, Hussam's got like Arteta as his like away from screen, with the bridesmaid thing. Like, you're out there trying to rattle my boys, and my boys are easily rattled. So.
Tango down. That's factually incorrect. Vator, can you stop?
No. Turn off your
You're
camera.
factually incorrect. You want to know why you're factually incorrect? I said I'm only going to banter Arsenal for like a week, and then I'm going to switch to my biggest rival. Bro, I'm stepping on Ferguson's neck this summer. He can hold that.
Okay, all right. One by one, what were we talking about? It was Kepa,
Rodrygo, Sesko, Kepa, Direction, Berta, Arteta. There's like a whole lot of explosive.
Zubimendi.
Zubimendi, true.
Okay, so Zubimendi, I don't know what's going on with that. Like, everyone's saying it's done except Zubimendi. Zubimendi's like, don't talk about me. I'm on holidays. I'm in the pool. Leave me alone. But I think it's done by the sounds of things, but I'm just going to like leave that in the don't care about basket. Like, even if we get Zubimendi, no one's going to say, oh, Arsenal's scary. Ooh, they got Zubimendi. They got Zubimendi's crap. He's
Someone
not a
will
very
say
good
it's scary.
midfielder. Like, the opinion on Zubimendi has changed over the last 18 months as he's rejected several clubs. I'm not going to mention any names. Now, there's Kepa. Not too excited about that, but I've never been excited about a backup keeper. The last time we had 2 good keepers, everyone lost their mind saying that Ramsdale and Raya was going to ruin the dressing room, and you can't have 2 good keepers. You've got to have a clear one and a number 2. Like, I don't like Kepa. Everyone's made fun of Kepa because he was 72 million and he was crap and he wouldn't take the substitution from Sarri and he turned himself into a bit of a punchline. But pure keeping wise, I thought he did pretty well for Bournemouth last year. And if I have to like pay $5 million for someone and expect him to be Premier League level, he's decent enough. So I'm not going to lose my crap over that. But I can understand Arsenal fans not wanting another Chelsea player.
I think it's a very good deal. Very good deal. I agree with you. He was very good for Bournemouth. Tailed off towards the end. But it's a number 2. He won't play much.
Cup games. Number 2 keeper. I don't want them to play. I want
You
Raya
see
to
him
play
in the
every
cup
game.
games, League Cup and that.
Yeah, cup games. Come on, you don't want to play Raya every game.
He's not running. What is he? He's not going to get tired. All he's going to do is
No,
move
but
his
no,
hands
dude,
about it.
no. It's not about running. There's also the mental fatigue, just staying sharp. There's observing the game, and I think it would be good. You don't want Raya burnt out. It's been it's been an intense 3 seasons, and it's good to have some rotation with regards to the keeper.
It's true.
But
we
what I
wanna
would
spend
say
25
is it's
million
not
on
your
Fred Garcia.
priority, bro.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend a lot of money on a backup keeper. It's going to take away from my striker or winger.
Yeah, I mean, it was a
attacking
release
side.
clause
That's
anyway,
where I'm
so-
laser focused is where's my striker and where's my extra winger support for my current setup. So at the moment, that's all I'm interested in. And you know that I've been on the Sesko train for, 18 months, maybe 2 years now, Sam.
Yeah, you really liked him. I don't know.
I like him because, one, the alternatives aren't there. Gyökeres, I'm sorry, he's not the guy. Unfortunately, he's just not the guy. He scored 20 penalties or something last season. I'm really happy for him. He's got ridiculous numbers, but he's never headed a goal as far as I can tell. I saw his last 50 headers in a comp, and it was worse than Kai Havertz. So I don't need that as my striker right now. I need a moments guy who's going to show up against Bayern Munich or someone and put a top bins from 40 meters without anyone expecting it. And that's Sesko. From what I can tell, he's athletic, he's tall, he's second fastest striker. I think he's won the most aerial duels. He's just potential to be a machine there. And that's what I want to see from my club is get some guy who is, I think secretly everyone's like worried about Sesko coming to Arsenal and performing because he's actually what we need. Okay. And I don't think people will be honest about that. And they'll say, you should have got this guy, you should have got Osimhen, you should have got Gyökeres. I think Sesko is kind of like a perfect fit for our current team squad and like where we want to be, not just next season, but for the next 3-4 seasons. So I'm happy with that. I don't know if it's going to happen. I hope it does. If we get Gyökeres, I won't cry. I'll be supportive of that idea too, because fundamentally he's a very good goal scorer, but I just don't think the way we play fits him. When I look at Arsenal in the last 3 seasons, we've scored twice as many set-piece goals as the next team. So if I'm buying a striker who can't head the ball for 80 million pounds, what are we doing here? Like this is.
Do you think Sesko
move to your left-hand side before we all have come off mute? Finish on a high. Talk about Rodrygo. Ornstein linked you to him. So
Rodrygo is a player who I have not a lot of faith in. I think he's like a very good fundamental player. He's a bit like a Doku, you know, where he will be very hard to play against, but will not punish you enough for what his skill level is. I think he scored like 34 goals out of 150 games or something like that. It's not prolific.
Are you guys listening to this?
I would.
You said to let him finish. You said to let him finish. So.
Well, okay. Let me.
You just said Rodrygo is a Doku type player.
Wait, let him finish. Let him finish.
Yeah, that's what you gotta let him finish.
I
you said to let him.
A good player, but I will clown him too because he has no end product at the end of the day. Rodrygo wasn't able to stand up to the challenge of forcing his way into that Real Madrid front three, and he hasn't performed on the right. If he can only perform on the left wing, and he needs all the conditions to be right, it needs to be 24 degrees and just get the right passes on the right angles. I don't need that guy necessarily. I'm more impressed by a Leao. I think he's more of a physical specimen. Rodrygo, Real Madrid rejects. We've had Ozil. There wasn't that, like, it wasn't really like. I just think if you're leaving Real Madrid to go your next step, it's almost like your career is over at that point. You're going backwards. You're not going towards Real Madrid. You're going away from Real Madrid. So I'm not that excited about Rodrygo, but I'd take him. I'm sure people are like really pissed off this thing, but I would rather Leao over him. I would probably rather Ekitike play him left wing, or just someone more an unknown entity. Rodrygo feels like to me he's too known and he's going to be too expensive and will be very hard to live up to whatever level people expect him to be. So come at me, bros.
This season, I've watched almost every game of Madrid and Barca, and I can tell you for a fact, the games where Rodrygo was able to play on the left, he did better than Vinny. He took over games on the left hand side.
So why didn't they keep him on the left?
Because Vinny has done too much on the left hand side in past seasons.
By his standards too, right? Like,
exactly, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But with the thing with Ancelotti this season is his trademark is I'm going to keep playing the players no matter how bad they are in the positions, even if it doesn't suit them, and that's why he got sacked. That's why they had the season that they had. But Rodrygo on the left is a completely different type of player. I mean, he is sensational. I think it's crazy to hear somebody say, you know, I'll be excited for Sesko, but I got my doubts about Rodrygo because
I'm not.
Rodrygo.
That's the thing that's like, I'm listening to this right now, and I'm like, dang, I'm like, you're just.
Because I mean, I have seen nothing special from Sesko. I have seen special things from Rodrygo. I've seen in big moments.
When was the last time Rodrygo did something special?
Champions League, Atletico Madrid.
I was going to say the Champions League, probably.
Champions, by the way, that's done now.
How long ago was that?
Real Madrid, Atletico,
the season before this one. The season before this one.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah. Does that not ring any alarm bells to people that this guy, like, he can't get minutes in the team, and like
nobody does get minutes in the team. He just plays on the right wing.
He's playing out of position, which is the toughest part in terms of judging him. I hear your take though, Martin, in terms of a big name, big expectations, and you not wanting that extra burden to follow a player and be at your club, right? It's probably something that some of the Liverpool fans might be dealing with the chances of Wirtz, but the quality of the player, I think you should always side on getting better quality in, like despite all of the distractions and the difficulties. But if you have Rodrygo, I think the worries or the hesitations on how prolific you guys can be in attack goes away, because he's a player that can play. He can play on both sides, but he prefers the left. So when you think about rotation and maybe chances for Saka maybe getting a break, there's an opportunity there. If you also talk about, even if you do get Sesko, then there's that whole interchanging that I think Arteta really wants. Like, that's the versatility and the connected play that you want from an Arsenal standpoint. But wow, Rodrygo going to Arsenal, I don't want to see it. I'll tell you that. I don't want to see that at all. I don't want to see him in the Prem unless it's at City.
It really depends though. If you're looking at him as a player or as GA, I think he's only got double figures in the Liga once, and that was last year. He got 10. His GA ain't great in the league. As a player, though, he's really good. And I get this whole left side thing versus right side thing. I think he played 10 games on the left side, scored 5 goals, and he did play well. I agree. But why wasn't he kept there? That's still the question for me. And if the manager didn't keep him there, then has he not got the personality to stick up for himself and say, I want to play on left. I'm outperforming Vinny. Play me there.
Well, there's also that attitude from him where he's like, I want to stay at Real Madrid. Like, everything he's saying publicly is like, I want to be at Real Madrid. Then you're going to get a player that's maybe not motivated to play for your team if he's stepping down a level. Maybe he'll think he's better than everyone else from where he's coming from. There's something about him which doesn't make me excited to get him. But if we get him, I'll give him a chance. I'm not like against the signing.
Let me say something.
It's just it really is crazy to say I'm gonna give Rodrygo a chance. Yeah, I'm excited. He's a missing piece. Yeah, but Sesko's a missing piece.
Right? Like, I'm just saying that, right? Like, I'm not against it. I'm not.
And if you mention physicality, like, you realize this is Arsenal playing football, like, not about to declare for the rugby league or something. Like, all this physicality hype. The goat of the sport is a literal midget. Like,
no, but do you know why? The average, literally, the reason why is because Arsenal is building an NBA team, bro. Every player is 6'1",
and I love it.
So Rodrygo stands out. That's why they don't want him. He's not 6'1". He's not a center.
Like. Oh, he can't
you
play
lose an aerial jewel. I am upset.
No. Congratulations, Fonzie, on winning the Nations League. Big up to you, and thank you for all the super chats. Here's the thing: the reason why you're crazy, guys. Let's get the likes up as well. We do have 550 people locked in. Let's get the likes up, please. 570 now, so let's get the likes up. Let's get 200, 300 likes ASAP. Big up all the mods pushing the likes as well. I'll tell you why you're crazy. We are all footballing men here. Look, You play a right-footed winger on the right, you are taking away the most basic move any winger can make, which is cut in and shoot. Imagine your favorite winger, Bukayo Saka, playing left wing. Imagine my favorite winger, Mo Salah, playing left wing. Yes, they can execute to a level, but you're taking away one of their biggest weapons, which is cut in and shoot, cut in and
But it's
cross.
also the most predictable weapon. Like it's Saka, I feel like should play on the left side.
Robin scored 400 goals with the most predictable weapon.
Well, Mo Salah, there's like certain levels, like Ribéry, and you can't stop them. You know what they're going to do, you can't stop them. But I don't think Saka's done that. He hasn't got to that level where you can't stop him. You can stop him.
I agree that Saka hasn't gotten to that level. I'm saying if I put him left wing, he would get like half the numbers. And if you want to go to a lower level, let's say Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz this season, 13 Premier League goals, fantastic season. You play Luis Diaz on the right and you take away cut in and shoot, cut in and create. You're immediately taking away like half those goals, bro. Which is why
what if I've got an
I think
actual striker
Rodrygo
there that's
is
waiting for the ball for once? Like
Yeah,
normally I don't
think
have that
Rodrygo
striker
is
there.
waiting to explode. He just needs an opportunity to play on that side, which is his favorite side. Because then you get he has all the fundamentals. He can dribble, he can pass, he could shoot. Like so essentially he's in a position where he can't even do the most basic move in football. He just can't. Cut in
What
and
do you
shoot,
think
you can
Rodrygo
consider
would
that
provide
basic. He cannot do that.
PA-wise?
Say it again.
But if you rebuttal it, the rebuttal for me, I agree with you. You are taking away his goals, but would you not expect the assists to be high? If
No,
that's the
because
case?
Madrid are not crossing it into the box type team.
You don't have to cross in the box, man. You can get yourself to the byline, cut it back, or get yourself to the edge of the box.
Yeah,
from
but
a
actually,
cutting
I checked this.
left-footed
That's why
pass.
Rodrygo has more chances created than Vinny, by the way.
Okay, but what's his assists? They're low.
I don't know, but they has more chances created than Vinny. It's the
What do
truth.
you expect?
Okay, but
Rodrygo's
everyone's saying
output to
Vinny's
be
had
in
a
the
stinker
Premier
this
League?
season.
Like,
I'm not. By the way, I'm agreeing. I like Rodrygo, and for me, he's an upgrade on Martinelli or Drossard.
Oh, absolutely.
So by that de facto, it's fine.
Upgrade is a.
But I'm just saying, like there is a thing where you've got to think about. He's been playing at Real Madrid, who outside of playing 2 or 3 teams in that league, don't really struggle that much. Look what Anthony did when he went into the Spanish league, and look what he did when he came up against Chelsea in the final of the Conference League. So you have to. I get why you've got that slight concern, and I think it's valid. I think every player should come in with, let me see how it goes, rather than what Hussein does with Wirtz, who he hasn't even signed, by the way, yet. So it's worth having that let me wait and see kind of sensible approach to it, rather than, you know, putting on a blue blazer and saying we've got more pull than City. So I get that. I think it's a sensible approach.
I'm a mature guy. I don't get down on the whole getting excited about someone you're linked with and then getting all disappointed when it doesn't come through. I think that there's maybe 4 or 5 players that we're looking maybe on the left wing options, like an Eze, Semenyo. There's a variety of things, and some of them are Premier League tested and proven. Rodrygo, if he comes, I don't know if he's going to get.
You're
10
taking
goals.
Semenyo ahead of Rodrygo.
No, I'm not saying ahead, but I'm saying that there's a variety of choices there that are more tested and proven in the league which we're in, not La Liga, you know, at Real Madrid getting a golden carpet ride, you know, through that tournament. If he doesn't get 10 goals and 10 assists in the Liga, I don't expect him to do it in the Premier League. It's not like he's going to find it easier where we are. I think he would have to explode to a new level to really hit those heights in the Premier League. And I don't watch him play enough, and I feel like I probably shouldn't talk about him any more than I already have. So
I'm completely with Rational Red RV here. As a Liverpool fan, I'm telling you right now, you don't want Rodrygo, Habibi. I take him. If we're gonna sell Diaz for 85 million and buy Rodrygo for 80, I'm taking that all day.
Chelsea putting down 100, bro. Chelsea putting down 100.
Would you expect more than 8 assists in his best season?
Here's the thing. Winger gets the ball in a dangerous position. Wingers 90% of the time want to have the option to cut in and shoot, cut in and create. I'm taking away an option from Rodrygo by limiting him by playing him on the right-hand side. Apply that to any winger you want. Let's look at an old-school winger. Big up to you, Rational Red RV. I agree with you completely. Let's look at an old-school winger, okay? I'm giving you a classic example. Arjen Robben. Let's say Arjen Robben played left wing. Do you think he would get half the goals that he got? Come on, man.
Ryan Giggs played left wing and he was left.
Yeah, but Ryan Giggs played in a different era where it was more left midfield because David Beckham was the right midfielder. Because they had 2 up top. Now we don't have 2 up top anymore.
So Beckham right-footed on the right side. Like it's I get what you're saying, but it's too big an excuse for them to be at Real Madrid and have your best assist season. Forget the goals. There's 8 in the league.
With all
8.
that talent around you.
Bro, Elanga got more assists in the Premier League this season.
And does he track
And by the
back?
way,
Like,
Elanga
he's
plays on the
part of
right-hand
the-
side and is right-footed. And he scored. He's at 18 GA this season. And that's in a defensive Forest team, not in a Real Madrid. In the Prem.
Yeah, but none of us are gonna pick Elanga over Rodrygo.
No, I'm not either. I'm just saying, I'm saying he's got a point. It's not.
Position.
I don't fully agree with it, but I'm just saying
yeah.
his right to his the logic behind his opinion.
Yeah.
There is logic behind it.
But
It's
then
also
you can't
funny.
see okay, using your logic that he has a point, why is he hyping up Sesko 13 goals in 33?
That's what I'm saying.
Have you seen Sesko's goals? It's
Yes,
not about
13
numbers
and
to me. It's
33.
about
It's the headers.
where he scores.
But
and
you
Oh,
can't
now
say
it's
it's not
not
about
about the
numbers,
numbers.
and then tell
Now
me
it's
say
not
Rodrygo
about
doesn't have the numbers.
Fucking hell.
No, but okay, so Sesko wasn't playing as a lone striker. He was playing as a part of a 2. Openda was the main striker.
And Rodrygo's playing on the
Sesko's
right
job
when he's
was
a
to
left winger.
facilitate. Okay, yeah, but he's an actual winger, right? Like, I want Sesko
Why
to
is
be our number
Sesko's
1
passing
striker.
accuracy 66% then?
Who?
Sesko, his passing accuracy is 66%. He has less chances created than Ekitike.
I
Who's
don't
actually a
want him
striker.
to be the chance guy. I want him to be the finish guy. I want him to be sitting in the box. I don't want him running around
Which he
doing
is not.
1-2s on the wing. I want him in the middle where
He
he's
will.
useful and can finish stuff off, right?
You
I
are
want
hearing
him
it
to be
correct,
particular.
Toka, in the chat. Martin does not want Rodrygo, but he wants Sesko. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, Martin, I don't agree with you
It's
on
gonna
that.
blow some minds on people.
Bro, you've got a guy in Sesko who scored less Bundesliga goals than Marmoush did, who left in January.
And he left in January.
Yeah. But Marmoush, that was like a one-off thing, right? Like, all these other seasons he didn't do. It was like an out of the blue, like he caught fire for a second. Now he's back to his usual.
He's scoring in the Prem. He's scoring in
He's
the
scored a
Prem.
couple.
Yeah.
Goal of the season.
He scored 7 and the goal of the season. I think Martin reminds me of a few Arsenal fans because there was a time where when asked, would you rather Mbappe or Saka, they said they would prefer Saka. So let Martin have his
I
preferences.
think at that time, Mbappe was like arguing with his
It
teammates.
doesn't
in the
matter
field,
what
like, tracking
time it
back
is.
or something like. You know, he was being a real prima donna. So I don't
It
think anyone would do
it
that.
doesn't matter what time it is, Martin. It does not matter what time it is. This is Mbappe. But listen, you have your preference. I think, like you said, there's so much to happen in this transfer window, and where these players ending up.
I think it's interesting right now. Before
Just
you
be
go on,
prepared.
there's a trolley
Yeah, go ahead.
dash. There's a trolley dash for Club World Cup clubs going out there and going, I need stuff now.
Yeah.
Now. I think there's going to be a bit of a lull then after that where you get to like everyone can take stock on who's left. I don't want to be left with sloppy seconds at the end of it, right? Like if you've got Rodrygo on the line and it looks good, sign him up. Pay the money, right? I just want to pay the money. My club is, I think we've spent on Marino and Calafiori in the last 3 transfer windows 80 million, and we made a profit last summer. So I don't want to see any of that. I want to see us like doing silly stuff. And
But do you accept
buy
him moving
Rodrygo,
slow?
buy both Gyökeres and Sesko, spend it.
But do you accept Arsenal moving slow again?
We always there was one transfer window where we got Czech on loan or something like that. Like that was it. I'm used to this. This is how I was born and bred.
Yeah, but it's not acceptable, bro. Like,
What am I going to do about it? At the moment, they've hired Berta, who seems to be
Bending
coming
over.
from a different position. He's going to bring a different way of thinking about things, and hopefully, he's given enough free reign to change the way this club does its indecisive crap. I mean, I've heard so many updates. I don't want to see anything about Sesko because it's all the same thing. It's like we are entering semi-concrete. The concrete is hardening. We're talking a little bit louder tomorrow, and maybe we'll. There's no bid. If there's no bid, don't even mention. Don't even bring it up. So, you know, I'm frustrated with the whole media cycle. I think a lot of it's just designed to infuriate people. But it's off season. Go to the pool. Stay calm. Come back.
But
Wait
that's
till you
not
end
going to happen. That doesn't happen in my fan base. That doesn't happen in the Forest fan base, in the City fan base.
Can do what it wants. They
No
can go
fan
further
base
and
in the entirety of this league is going to sit by the pool this summer and just chill. It's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. The people, like even Liverpool fans are mad. Everyone mad, bro. It's the transfer season. You have to get over the fact that
Yeah,
everyone's
why are
angry.
Liverpool fans mad? Are you mad that you haven't?
Yeah. What?
No, they're just mad because they think that the
Why?
transfer this big can be done this quick. Like we're just some are just not used to it.
Uh-huh.
Well, we've got to wait for Rodrygo, for example, to be told that he's not part of Xabi Alonso's front three plans, right? Like there's stuff which has to happen for these players to become fully available. So
but you can't base your planning based on what another team is doing.
But that's what all clubs do. They've got their number one target, but maybe they've got to wait for their number one target to say no. So they're talking to 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah,
and
but they would be speaking to that player. This is the thing. My biggest frustration from putting, like, say, Arsenal goggles on is that forget Rodrygo. You haven't signed a striker. There's 2 or 3 left that you can pick. Let's be honest. Like the pool is about 3 or 4, right? You got Gyökeres, Sesko, Osimhen, and Ekitike. Pretty much, you would say they're the 4 that are there. You've had 4 years without a striker. You didn't even replace Eddie Nketiah, one of the worst footballers I've ever seen last season. You didn't replace Aubameyang. You didn't replace Lacazette. You've had 4 years to plan for a striker. You've been chasing Sesko for 2 of them. Yeah, like why this delay? Get it over the line before other clubs snap them up, and you get left with I don't know who, man. Maybe Calvert-Lewin. Do you know what I'm saying? Or you're back to Ollie Watkins from January. Like this thinking has to come into the Arsenal hierarchy's thought process that if we don't get him now, someone else will, because there are plenty of clubs looking for a 9.
I was already livid at the end of January that we didn't spend that money, which we should have, which would have given us some chance to win the Champions League or challenge Liverpool for the title. But obviously, they don't want to work at anyone else's speed. They're like, we didn't have a sporting director, so we're not going to sign anyone. We'll just wait till we get someone in, and then we'll take our time. It's infuriating, but like at the end, I need to judge it at the end of the transfer window. Now we're in like a special extra early transfer window for Club World Cup. It didn't even exist before. So there's even a rollover of the financial year or whatever happens at the end of June. So even a lot of the deals that people are talking about now, I don't expect them to be done before July 1st when that.
Yeah, but you got Kepa done. Range. That I think is a good deal, but my worry is why is Kepa done before a 9 or a left winger? That's that for me. I can't get the logic. You're gonna say market opportunity, or this is a 30-year-old goalkeeper who's gonna play a handful of games. It doesn't matter if you got him in first or last. You need the priority for me with Arsenal, as it has been for the last 4 years, striker. And Arteta was saying in January he wants a striker. Why haven't they been talking to Sesko while the window was closed, making sure? All right, but why isn't it ready? It should not be taking that long. It should not be taking that long.
No, it shouldn't.
I'll be honest. I'm in complete disagreement with Martin. You signed Sesko, my feet is kicked up. I'm relaxed. I'm cool. You signed Rodrygo.
Were you relaxed and cool when he played against you guys? Because he scored an absolute banger that left Klopp with his mouth open. Like, you remember that meme?
So did Nunes. So did Darwin Nunes.
Eddie Nketiah scored against us. Darwin Nunes scored against us.
This was
Shall I mention the name of players who scored against us? I mean,
Also, we're not gonna.
Your benchmark now scored against.
We're not gonna talk about what Sesko did in the Euros, bro. That's what fully convinced me that there's nothing there, bro.
Yeah, he hit the crossbar. That was his highlight, wasn't it?
Who was he playing with?
Oh, now it's who he's playing with.
I don't know.
Put him around better talent is what Martin's saying. Put him around better talent.
God,
better talent, better manager, better structure.
Gaslight, Vator. Gaslight. You're
How am I gaslighting? I'm saying
you're the biggest gaslighter known to mankind. You're actually the biggest gaslighter. You're a gaslighter.
I don't even know how I'm gaslighting.
I'm offended.
Go ahead.
The man's saying surround him with better talent, and I think you get a better Sesko. That's fair to say. He's got confidence that him coming to Arsenal is better. I'm not gaslighting. This is what Martin's saying.
Hey, I'm not a sheep. I don't download my opinions from other YouTubers and
tell him, Martin.
Regurgitate. I like players because I like players. I don't listen.
I'm going to use an NBA analogy that I know your old ass can remember. Kenny Smith playing for the Sacramento Kings when he was their best player versus Kenny Smith at the Houston Rockets surrounded by better players. He just became part of the crew.
Look, I came from Australia. The only player we knew was Michael Jordan, and everyone else was crap.
I'm not saying your old ass. I'm saying Vator's old ass.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Because he's the one gaslighting. Kenny the Jet Smith. Yeah, he went to Houston. And he just became part of the team. That's it.
Brutality.
That was
okay,
rude.
sorry for calling you old. You are old.
I pray for all of you to be as old as me in the future.
I think I'm already past you, Vator, but we won't talk about it.
That went unnecessarily dramatic and
I want
sad,
to say this. I want to say this with regards to this whole thing.
Yes.
It's not about gaslighting.
Are
But
you
when
worried
you-
about Arsenal then? Can you say that with a straight face right now?
Yes, I'm worried about Arsenal.
So
I've been
Arsenal
worried-
signed Sesko, you're worried.
Arsenal improving on what they already have, I'm worried, yes. Because there's no standing still. If they were to lose players and not add talent, then okay, I'm chill. But this is an improvement. We can't ignore that. It's still an improvement on what they were, and they were challenging as they were. So
Kai
I'm not-
Havertz scored 13 goals in the Premier League in 37 games. Benjamin Sesko scored 13 in the Bundesliga in a significantly worse league. Where
You know what Timo
Werner
Werner and Nkunku
Okay, let me ask this.
and Havertz did in the Bundesliga?
Did Arteta raise Kai Havertz scoring levels? Yes or no?
I wouldn't say he raised that much because his best season at Chelsea he scored like 11. Let me look.
So he got
Last
more than his
season, he
best
got,
season
like-
at Chelsea.
By 2 goals. That's called raise the standard for you.
He was injured last season. Let's not do that.
He got 8 in 29 at Chelsea, and he got 13 in 37 at Arsenal.
Okay, and then he had an injured season last year, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to dismiss.
So Havertz played 37 games for us in the Premier League this season.
No, I said last year. I'm talking
No,
looking
last
at
season.
last season.
Last year.
Best season.
And last year was injured, and last year's playing well. Mourinho, who we wouldn't rate as a scorer, what did Arteta get out of him? So I'm not going to poo-poo and being like, oh, they
I
signed
know
him.
he's just gaslighting now. I know you too well.
Oh, no, I'm not
just such a gaslighter.
Oh my
You're the best at this. You're genuinely the best in the business. If I needed someone to gaslight, I would call you directly. You are elite
I thought you
gaslighter.
said I was.
No, you're not a gaslighter.
You're the rage baiter.
Yeah, two different things.
Oh, we're getting technical now.
You
Semantic.
get me? So
I
there's
don't know
3
why
people.
there's this big like campaign against Sesko. I don't know why.
Right?
It's not just this channel, but everywhere I go on YouTube, someone is like.
Okay, I can
dunking
give you the
on
honest answer to that. Sesko is not a fundamentally sound footballer. He
No, but
doesn't
okay,
have.
I heard this, but what are you talking about? Like he's a 6'5" guy that can dribble and do step overs and shoot from anywhere with both feet. Like his left foot is faster than both of Kai Havertz's shots with his right and left foot combined. Like if you added
Yeah,
those
but your benchmark can't be Kai Havertz. My benchmark is not
that's my
get us.
benchmark. That is my
Bro,
striker.
No, that's wrong. That's
It's
wrong.
not the
thinking because
benchmark. It's about
My
improvement.
benchmark is not. I want to get better than Nunes because guess what? If that's my benchmark, I could sign Chris Wood. You think I'd be
Okay.
happy with Chris
You
Wood?
wish,
Hold on.
man. Liverpool.
Don't bring Nunes into
Martin,
this.
Martin, let me try something real quick. When was the last time you were worried about Arsenal, Don Huzam?
Last 2 years.
So the last 2 years, and they look to improve on the player in attack from the last 2 years. Why are we just going to dismiss it?
Oh, I'm not. I'll tell you why. I have other reasons why I think Arsenal are gonna fall off if they sign Sesko and not Rodrygo. Because, and this is something your club has suffered from, something my club has suffered from. When you finish second, when you walk into that dressing room in the summer, you need something to uplift you.
I'm
You
not
need
familiar.
something to
I'm
give
not
you that extra 5% belief and motivation that you're going to take it over the line. You're going to take it over the line. The problem is, if you're Saliba Gabriel walking into that Arsenal dressing room, when you look around, if you see Rodrygo, you're like, shit, I want to fight now. Like, I'm ready to go again. If you see Sesko, you're like, fucking hell. Those guys signed Wirtz. This other club signed like Cherki, I know, blah, blah, blah. And I've got to win the league with this guy. And it's just every season, next season, every game next season from the beginning for Arsenal is going to be like a pressure cooker game. You get
And
it?
it's not.
All
just
it
that.
takes is
Always a
one
pressure
thing to go wrong, and it's going to be an explosion immediately.
Every game has been like that for the last 4 years. If we draw a game, it's head loss for a whole week. You're using a false equivalence there of Rodrygo and Sesko. I want both of those guys, or I want a high level winger and a high level striker to come in, and not just do what they did before, but improve from where they were, provide for the team, and become part of our structure in a way that I don't think Gyökeres really fits into. And people
Yeah,
just
but
go
you
like,
keep
I want to
saying
add
Sesko.
Gyökeres goals to our team, and it just doesn't work like that.
Martin, you've brought it up a few times now. Sesko, the power of his shot is
Yeah.
what you're highlighting. Do you remember the film Mighty Ducks?
Yeah.
Fulton Reed couldn't ice skate, but he could hit the damn ball hard.
Is that the Adam Sandler
That's what you're
one, or-
signing here from the you're picking out that power shot.
no.
Like,
He's does
Power
more than
shot
that.
plus,
I
bro.
missed that in that my team.
yeah, that's a trait in there on FIFA.
When we used to have Podolski, I used to love Podolski. His left foot was like an absolute cannon, right? We haven't had anyone that can shoot faster than 5Ks an hour in our team for like a decade. So yeah, I'm thirsty for it. I'm desperate for someone who maybe thinks that they're going to shoot from the halfway line for fun. Like he did a Trivella against
You don't
Bayern.
need that. You don't
We
need that.
we need someone who's going to shoot, who just believes that they can score and will take the chance.
You need someone in the box, bro. You need a fox in the box.
For me, he's in the box. For me, he's not running around doing false nine stuff. He's actually in the box, last man, and he's so fast.
You're talking about 40-yard screamers. These are one-offs anyway. They happen one in 15 games.
That was like Van Persie. His idol is Ibrahimovic. Like if I can get something that's like a
my idol's Zidane, it doesn't make me the next
Nunes'
best.
idol is R9.
Yeah, but he's never going to be R9. This guy is close to Ibra. Like he can get there if he
No,
close to it,
he can get there. He's idolizing the right guy. He's not idolizing like Nunes should not idolize R9. He's never going to be R9.
Close to Ibra. Fuck my life, bro. Come on, Martin. Come
13
on,
goals.
bro.
13 goals. He's idolizing Ibra.
13 goals. He's idolizing Ibrahimovic, who had to come up against Nesta, Maldini, Cannavaro.
And let's be real. Let's be real. He's digressed because he got 14 the year before.
Why do you only use
if you're saying Kai Havertz improved, if you're saying Kai Havertz improved under Arteta for 2 goals, well, by that logic, he's digressed because he scored a goal less this season than he did the year before.
Is he playing as a solo striker?
Bro, you can't use that one.
He's not playing as a main striker like he would in our formation. I don't think it's a fair comparison. Plus, he scored 4 Champions League goals in 8 games, and people just
let's move on topic to Wirtz and Cherki. Big up to Mr. Perfecto, who says 114 million pound rejected, need to pay the 150 million euros. I love the fact that you just switched like currency in the same super chat. You went from 114 pounds to 150 million euros. Why did you just make it pounds and pounds or euros and euros? Why?
But the media does that. People don't know. Like,
and then the second one is euros to make it sound bigger. You know, like, 150 million euros. Bro, have some shame. Just bring up the pounds, bro. Like, it's just... Also, why are you pocket watching as a City fan? You've spent 300 million in the last 6 months.
And he's paid in Australian dollars, man. He got 3 different currencies in that super chat.
Yeah, and he's paid in Australian dollars as well. Listen, you either make it pounds, or like euro. You can't do pounds and euro.
But that's not his fault. Like, he said that the bid is like they won 150 million euros, and then the news outlets will say your 113 million pound bid got rejected. Like, it's not. No one does the numbers for him. You know, it should be 140 million euros for 115 pounds.
And you guys have pocket watched City for years, so let him pocket watch for once.
150 euros is 126 million pounds.
So you guys are haggling over 13 million pounds.
No, that's what I think we'll pay. I think we'll pay 140 million euros, which is 117 million pounds, and I think he'll get himself. That one will get accepted.
Okay. So
speaking of, which is the next topic. I'm not currency watching, but you can't in the same super chat use pounds in the first part and then euros in the second, because now I've got to go to Google and I've got to fucking change currencies, so I know what you mean, Habibi. You get me? Because you know how shameless he is, right? He said 114 million. So 114 million British pounds to euros. So 114 million is 135 million euros. So 135 million euros that accepted. We're gonna go 150 million. Oh wow, bro, have some shame. Have some shame, you fraud. Anyway, let me just. We're gonna come to Wirtz and Cherki now. Anyway, I don't know why it's a topic. It's mad. I love rivals watching our transfer activity, analyzing what we are doing. Never known them to pocket watch us this much. Seem very worried and scared. Fact.
Who does he support?
Is he talking about Arsenal or Liverpool?
No, Liverpool. Pocket watching Liverpool is mad. Like,
we haven't mentioned Liverpool once.
Pocket watching like crazy. It's just insanity.
Well, I saw you losing your rag over Kepa yesterday. Like you're really up.
I never mentioned money. I just think he's a shit keeper, which I'm allowed to think.
Yeah, for me, like I just think it's funny that you guys just keep going to the Chelsea bargain bin. That's the only thing I'll say about Kepa.
You never know what you find. I don't think bargain bin these days. Like you could find.
I don't really think, like, you know, everybody that we're throwing in the trash. Arsenal's like, let me see if I can find something. Like, you know, like, I'm thrifting, bro. Like, it is what it is. I just think it's funny that you guys keep, like, you guys have not learned your lesson. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
It's a problem.
It's big coming from the team that just buy Brighton players.
When's the last
and their
Brighton player that we
managers
bought?
and their backroom staff and just
When's the last Brighton player that we bought?
Sanchez.
Okay, and how long ago was that?
And how good is he?
He's gone.
He's gone. Where did
And
he
how's
go?
Cucurella? And how's Cucurella? And how's Caicedo?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
That you
No,
go to
you
Brighton,
can listen.
man.
Forest can also
Caicedo
keep
was
buying our
expensive,
scraps. It's
though.
all
Can I
good, bro.
1-0 RSM there? Because
Forest
Well,
can
no, I'm
also keep
saying
buying
the
our
standards
scraps,
are
bro.
the
It's
same.
all
He's
good.
saying Arsenal
Listen, it's
against
all
Chelsea.
good.
They're
You
going
can
to
also go
Brighton.
through the bargain bin, bro. Don't worry about it. The door's open.
True. Sesko or Gyökeres both are risky for asking the price. Yeah, but Gyökeres is even cheaper than fucking.
He's not. Gyökeres is not risky.
Yeah,
not
Gyökeres
risky.
scored Champions League goals and stuff, at a high level. So his goal return is mad. Anyway, let's talk about this Wirtz and Cherki thing. First of all, big up to all of you guys. 750 people in the building. Let's get to 300 likes, guys. Come on, we're at 240 likes. You guys are such frauds. With the like button, it's a free button. It helps the channel out. Go give all these guys a subscription as well. Let's get the likes up. It's just close your live chat, like the video, and continue to enjoy the show. And big up to everyone locked in. Thank you to all the super chatters. Also, African Cat in the chat thinks that the Jordanian flag looks like the Togolese flag. I have no idea how. Anyway, big up African Cat. I love you. I told you I'm going to ask the chat, and now let's hear their opinions. Anyway, back to the topic. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Didn't Isak have a similar season to Sesko before his move? Yes. But Alexander Isak was afforded the time at Newcastle to become the player that he is right now. Arsenal don't have the time, ya Alvin, ya Habibi.
Yeah,
They don't
Newcastle
have
weren't
the-
expected to challenge the title.
Yeah,
when
Newcastle
they
weren't
brought-
expected to win the fucking league, bro. Like,
Also,
And
by the
also,
way, people tell me Isak. I wouldn't have taken Isak from Sociedad. Because Isak from Sociedad needed 2 years to become this guy that he is right now. And you can't afford 2 years. That's the point. That's
and
the
also
point.
his
You gotta put
profile
in the
picture
work
is
to develop
Arteta
players.
shushing, man. Like, seriously.
Wait.
Big up, Alvin. Anyway,
Wait. Liverpool, you guys wouldn't have taken Isak 2 years ago.
no, because he wasn't the player he is today.
Yeah, but
He isn't.
sometimes. So wait, I get that, but taking the chance on him would have made sense.
You're missing the point.
60
Vator.
mil. Not
Let's say
expensive.
Sesko. Okay, let's say Sesko becomes the best striker on the planet
In 2
after
years.
3 years. Okay,
Mhm.
fair. So he gets progressively better, and 3 years from now he becomes amazing. By that time, Arteta might not be there, Saka might not be there, Saliba might not be there. Okay, Saka maybe not, but Saliba might
Maybe
not be
we'll
there. Gabriel
improve.
might not be there. Blah blah blah. Like that's why you need to strike on the
No.
iron spot.
Imagine you had Isak now with Salah. Oh, cooking.
But yeah,
Yes, but
that's
I don't know if you would
short-sighted.
have developed to
I
get to this
disagree.
level at Liverpool, which is my point. But anyway, listen, that's beside the point.
Yeah, Michael's
fine.
saying 3 years ago he had 6 goals in the league and no big club would be going anywhere near him. Arsenal did. Arsenal did.
No,
Yes.
no, they did not.
Yes, they did. Ask a girl.
Arsenal wanted him from Sociedad. I don't think that's true.
Yeah. They didn't want to go to 64 or whatever it was. They went-
Isak.
The price tag was too high. The price tag. Was
Did
too
you want
high.
Yeah.
Isak from Sociedad days?
Yes. Yes.
We were
Oh,
like,
fair.
we found this guy in London who had a Isak number plate.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
someone was like, "Oh yeah, Isak just came to London and he's here talking."
Yeah,
to
but that was last January. That was after Newcastle. I'm
No,
talking about during-
no, that's when he was
Victoria
moving to Newcastle, bro.
No, that was last January.
Trust. We
Well,
thought he was coming. People were like, "Oh, he's locked in. He's here. He's partying in London. He's coming."
Okay, anyway, let's talk about Wirtz and Cherki now. Vator,
Yeah, what up?
obviously, who I have watched on Vator games, called Florian Wirtz the KDB replacement, now has that fraudulent shit on his. Don't act like I'm not a subscriber to your channel. I watch you because you gaslight. Anyway,
Okay.
how about you start off this section? Go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, I appreciate that. No, listen,
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
There was a time. There was a time. Again, those of you, listen. There was a time where we were looking for who was going to be next for KDB, right? Who was going to be able to be the next player to play? Never were we ever going to look for a KDB replacement. That's impossible. He's one of the GOATs. He's the best we've probably all seen. So we weren't looking for that direct replacement, but we were looking for a player that can come in when he's gone. Wirtz was on that short list, 100%. And I would never gaslight. I would never cap. I will never lie to you and say that the club were not interested in him. However, there is something, and Hussam's aware of this, when the evaluation of the player is too high, where the package is too high, where going in on this player does not make sense for how you want to plan moving forward.
Facts.
So Wirtz fell into that. And listen, there's many City fans that still wanted him regardless. They said, it's not my money, spend it anyways, bring him here. Now, the club knows better than us. That's why we're fans. We're fanatics.
You've been burned before on Grealish, so you don't want to spend that 100 million again.
Well, if we spend this 100 million on a player, we can see how it can negatively affect the player, and I don't want to put that on anyone. I saw what it did to Grealish. I honestly did. Yes, he was there and important in his role, delivered more goals at my club than he did at Aston Villa, and spent less time at my club. But because of the price tag, he wasn't rated like that. He wasn't regarded that. So they were like, no, you need to deliver more. This 100 million price tag? No, you got to do more. And he did do more in a short amount of time at my club than he did at Aston Villa. So that's how wild it is. Wirtz, the price tag was too high. I get it. I'm a fan. I don't know any better. My club knew better. My clubs were like, listen, we need to do a complete rebuild. Before past seasons when Liverpool were challenging us, we could afford to do a remodel in the bathroom, maybe touch up with a paint job in the kitchen. Oh, we want to, improve the master bedroom. Cool. This season, complete rebuild. And we're not going to do a complete rebuild throwing 100 plus at Wirtz. We needed that 100 plus to be able to spend on possibly 3 players, which it looks like my club, smarter than me, wiser than me, are able to do. So I'm still waiting for the kit to be held up for the official signings and the dotted, dot the T's and cross the T's, dot the I's, all that stuff. But if we can,
they're still behind you with like Man City jerseys on, by the way, right? Are you talking about?
Hey, this is social media, right? This is the internet. They're gonna do all this stuff. You saw Hussam's intro with AI can do amazing things. But if I can spend what was going to be spent on one player to get 3 when my midfield looked like that last season, club, do it. I was wrong. The City fans that said just get Wirtz at any cost, go. No, we were all wrong to say that, because I'm getting the best midfielder in Serie A. I'm getting a promising debut. The timeline was mad. What Cherki was doing, the timeline was mad. So if I'm able to get him for what might be 30 compared to 130, let's do it all day. Let's do it all day. And hey, we're throwing in there a defender as well for the price tag of what Wirtz is. Hey, that's better. Now you're going to hear someone talk about, bang for buck or pound for pound or value. My club in this case, we needed more quality and we needed more quantity. So the comparison is going to continue to be there, because whenever you spend that price tag on a player, you're going to be compared to what else was transferred in that window. Liverpool fans had the audacity to compare Darwin Núñez, who Hussam wants to get out of his club yesterday, to my striker in Holland. So the comparisons are going to be there regardless. It's just the nature of football. It's the nature of how we are as fans. So Cherki from day one will be compared to Wirtz. And when I ask the question, will Wirtz kind of regret this decision going somewhere else versus City? Possibly, because Van Dijk could have come to City, chose to go to Liverpool, right? Van Dijk, hey, won his trophies. He could have won more at City. That may be, we don't know. That may be the case of Wirtz. Yes, he may win over at Liverpool, but arguably you're probably going to win more at City.
But it just means more at Liverpool. And
yeah,
I don't think you can pull this like you save money, you don't spend that much. You spent 200 million in January on semi-rubbish. Okay, Marmoush is good.
Whoa, semi-rubbish.
By the way, this is the broke City. By the way, broke City. 292 million pounds. The broke City, man. We really need to cut corners now.
One second. This, man. Look where Liverpool is, and he's pocket watching me. Imagine.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait,
I spent.
But now we're gonna do the cope though. 130 was too much. No, I get it. It's fine, man.
No. 1 second. Let me just.
That's PSR. That's not money.
No, Hussam, he's gaslighting.
I let him talk. I wanna rebuttal all his shit.
Gaslighting.
1 second, Vator. I didn't interrupt you. You spoke for 17 minutes. Let me respond.
Oh my gosh.
RSM, you're a Chelsea fan. Who's more value for money, McAllister at 35 or Caicedo for 115?
McAllister.
Would you swap Caicedo for McAllister?
Nope.
Martin,
they're different
you're an
players.
Stop. Martin, you're an Arsenal fan. Who's more value for money, Gravenberch at 25 or Rice at 105?
Rice.
Value for
I
money.
just wanted to ruin your argument. We'll take Gravenberch for argument's sake.
Okay, would you swap them?
No.
If Liverpool had Rice and McAllister as the double pivot, Rice and Caicedo as the double pivot, we'd want back-to-back league titles. Even if I personally think McAllister is now world class and I rate him very highly, I think his price tag is a steal. I think he's consistently improved. 90% of the time in football, you get what you paid for. 90% of the time in football. My biggest problem is the change of energy. Because now I'm going to have to change my energy because of you. Because of your fraudulence, now I can't be honest. Because the difference between me and you is I know how to speak about a player, whether he joins my club or whether he doesn't. Yes, I will have that initial period where I'm angry and mad and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you're emotional.
But then eventually I'll get over it and I'll just speak the truth. Every single team of the season video, I have voted Caicedo in. He said no to my football club. When I watch Slavia play, I'm like, yo, he's a fucking baller. I do not change my energy based on the club that the player is going to.
Now you're
I think
gaslighting.
Cherki is a very good player, but he's not Wirtz's quality. He's not Wirtz's standard. My problem is City fans went from this is the Kevin De Bruyne replacement. Kevin De Bruyne is leaving this football club, and if there's anyone in the world that can replace KDB, it's Florian Wirtz. He's going to come in, he's going to play the 10, and he's going to be the next KDB, and we're going to dominate the league. Now, he's pocket watching, and he's talking about saving money by spending this much, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes one good signing, one elite signing, can take your club to the next level. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that Wirtz is only 20% better than Cherki. I'm not gonna exaggerate at all. Let's say it's just 20%. So let's say Cherki is a 7 out of 10 and Wirtz is like a 9 out of 10. Nothing mad, nothing crazy, just 20% better. If that 20% means 9 more points and I win the league, do I give a fuck? No, I don't.
What if Cherki is 20% better than Wirtz?
By the way, maybe all of you other than RSM will be aware of, because like of the stuff that the work that we do together. What Jack just said is something that applies, that you guys are going to be shocked with. Wait until they realize Wirtz, Kerkez, we ain't done. That's cash. We haven't sold anyone yet. They're not ready for what's coming. Big striker.
Big striker.
If the transfer window ended with just these three, and it's like, guys, we bought Florian Wirtz now. We don't have enough money to spend on other positions. Fairs. But we're still going to buy a striker. We're still actively looking at strikers. We're still actively looking at improving in the window. So if I, for the sake of argument, let's say now, Arsenal sign Sesko, Chelsea sign Ekitike. If Liverpool sign Gyökeres up top, and my front four is Salah, Gyökeres, Wirtz, and whoever, Gakpo, you think I give a fuck about the 130 million when I would be easily walking the league next year? I wouldn't care.
No one brought any of this up. No one said whether you should care or not. You talked to me. You said
how when he destroy his point, he now gonna switch the goalpost.
No, because
you've left context out of it. You've left context out of it.
What's the context, Wolfie? What's the context?
The context is Man City are going through a bigger rebuild than Liverpool are. Would you agree with that?
Okay. I don't even think they need a rebuild like that.
Yes, they do.
You've done videos after videos about how City are done because of our midfield and aging out and Pep not being able to.
Yeah, but haven't you done that with Nico Gonzalez and shit?
Nico Gonzalez was to help with regards
He's
to
back up to Rodri, so Rodri's back.
Yeah, and Kusanov, he's doing coffee duty or something. I don't know.
Kusanov's a Chelsea style
ball boy, man. Ball boy.
Before you guys take this on a tangent, Hussam threw it to me to talk about Cherki compared to Wirtz, and then he wanted to bring on all of this comparison with strikers and still spending. Just with regards to these two midfielders, and I never, not once, crapped on Wirtz. I never said he wasn't a good player. I never said that he wasn't talented. I said with regards to my club, why I understand why it made more sense to not put that much money into one singular player. We're in different phases. You just renewed contracts for Van Dijk and Salah. I'm at a different stage when I have an exit of Kevin De Bruyne. So when I have that type of exit and I haven't aged out Bernardo and I haven't
if you signed Florian Wirtz, this whole panel would be here saying we can't compete with Manchester City. They're going to win the league next season. Oh my God, Wirtz and Haaland are on the same team. Blah 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 blah. When you talk about rebuilds,
it is coke.
Let's not act like you haven't spent money on rebuilds. By the way, you spent 200 million on fullbacks in the first 2 seasons with Pep. You talk about money. 10 years ago that was 60
Okay.
million 10 years ago is 100 million today.
It
You
doesn't
spent
matter.
without inflation, you spent 200 million 10 years ago on 4 fullbacks.
Yes.
So you're talking about rebuilds not costing money and all this. If you signed Florian Wirtz, that's better than signing Cherki and blah blah blah.
No,
and
it's
Ryan-
not.
Here
No,
we
it's
go.
not.
Here we go. Gas
No,
light,
no,
gas
no. Hold on, guys. I want to be very respectful. I want to be very respectful. How is it that I am getting 3 players for the price of 1, and you're telling me that wasn't smart, or you're telling me
you
that
don't-
was not a
you're
better
Man City.
deal?
Because no,
You don't care
The
about.
reason is
No, we
because
do
it's
care.
it's
When
because
you
it's
look at no, hold on, Arson, one sec. We do care because when you look at that, when you look at the PSR, when you look at net spend, or when you look at spending over the past seasons, we do care because we haven't been spending like that. Liverpool, the best PR in the business, talked about, oh, we only spent blah 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 on Chiesa, right? Oh, everybody was reminded they only bought that one player. Well, I only bought Savinho for 30 and got Gundogan on a free. Like, I didn't
We're in a
spend that
different
much
era
last
now. Like, okay, you've got to replace KDB with an elite player. It justifies
you.
paying $100 million.
Thank you.
And $100 million these days is $50 million from when you signed KDB. Like, the inflation, I think people are just going to have to start getting used to that. 100 million is going to be pretty common now from here on out to get really good
Martin,
players to
Martin.
replace the best player in your team.
Martin,
It
you
is
know
what
what's
it is.
not common though?
And one of the best midfielders ever, you know? Like we've ever
And I'm
one
not-
of the best midfielders we've ever seen. You're telling me Cherki is better because of first of all, why are
I
you
didn't
acting
say
like
any. Oh my
no,
god!
no. Better value for money because of the whole spending it around the squad thing.
He is better value
why,
for money.
Why the thing that is pissing me off here, why are you acting like City don't have money to spend? That's the thing I just don't get here.
That's what I was gonna say.
No, I didn't say we didn't.
How
have
much
money
does
to spend.
Ait-Nouri cost? Tell the world. How much does Ait-Nouri cost?
He's probably going to cost us 40 or 30.
British pounds. Talk to me. British pounds. How much is it going to cost?
30 pounds.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
How much does Reinders cost British pounds? 48.
Yes.
British pounds, Florian Wirtz. I'm going to go nothing crazy. 120 million British pounds. 120. Okay, wait. 120 plus 48 plus 30. How much is that? 188. So City can't spend 188 million when they make
But
the
they
most
need
revenue.
more. They need more.
We need more than that, though.
They need
They're
a right
about
back.
to drop 80 million on Tino Livramento, and you think 120 on Wirtz is too much? Fuck my life.
No. There's no.
You didn't add that into your sums. You didn't add that
Exactly.
into your sums.
Yes, but if you get Florian Wirtz, you can now go get a Porto young right back for 40 million. Because guess
No,
what? You got the higher quality player, which will boost your rebuild. So instead
No.
of City now competing for the league and maybe missing out because they don't have as much quality, now you have Florian Wirtz who
Nah.
replaces
Attack win games, defenses win championships, bro. Standard.
Oh yeah, because Ait-Nouri is known for his defensive work, right?
I know he did a job on Salah, so let's stop this.
Yeah.
All right.
Forced attack got him into the UCL, bro. True and facts.
Go back and watch the games how he played against Salah, and that's where I put my most focus.
What's happening on the panel today? I've got Martin telling me Sesko scored against Liverpool in a preseason friendly, and I've got Vator telling me he had a good game against Salah.
Yeah, it's important. It's important. He's the best. He's the best attacker in the league last season.
Kyle Walker had a very good game, against Man.
Alex Moreno pocketed Salah at
Bring
Anfield.
Walker back. You know,
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
a very good game.
Because
Gomez
I could
I
even be
just
shameless
don't
and say
wanna hear-
Malagusto pocketed Wirtz, but like, bro, come on, man.
Vader,
Yeah,
no
why-
one wants to hear Man City is like, we're doing smart things.
Woe
with
is
money.
me, yeah. We don't want
Right
the
here
woe is
in
me,
this
man.
era where
You guys
you
are
can sell
gasking.
your
I
club
didn't
to
say was
yourself.
me. I said smart footballing decisions were made
No.
in terms of spending on 3
But the
versus
thing is,
1. And you guys
Vader,
want to
Vader, the thing is, you're acting like it's an impossibility
acting.
for your club to have signed Wirtz and
not
the
doing
signings
it.
behind you as well.
Not
You
doing
could
it.
have done all of it. You just got rejected.
No, we
That's
couldn't
it.
have- No, we couldn't have done
Okay, when did we bid for Caicedo? After we signed McAllister and Soboslai, okay?
that. I don't care
Okay.
about your rejections.
But 1 second, Habibi, 1 second. We bid after. So we had McAllister and Soboslai through the door, then we did drop the 115 on Caicedo, okay? Let's say Caicedo said yes to Liverpool and joined us. Would that have not sped up our rebuild instead of us waiting a whole other year to win the league? Be for real now. Can you answer
Then you
honestly?
wouldn't have discovered Gravenberch in that position.
Yeah, Habibi, that's not the point.
No, it
I'm
is the point because
saying-
apparently you won the league
Winning the
because
league
of
a
his
year
contribution.
after.
So
With changing the manager and all this, we could have won the league the year before that even. So we'd have sped up the rebuild. And that's what Wirtz would have done.
Whoa. Hold. Now
wait,
you're
you
going
saying
too far. Now you're going too
Casado
far.
going to Liverpool, you would have won the league.
Yeah,
How was
you're
he in
going
the first 6 months at Chelsea?
How are you talking about him?
Oh,
Hussam,
the myth
yourself.
is mad. You're saying first 6 months. Caicedo was bad at Chelsea for like the first 5 games only, 4 games. That
Yeah, it was
6 months.
literally 5. Yeah, it was literally
Yeah,
like
it
the
was
first 5 to 6, and then
no,
after that he was really
That's
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was also playing at Chelsea where there wasn't an expectation to win the league.
And it was
Right?
chaos at Chelsea, though.
It's different. It's different. And I'm not going to say if Caicedo was at Liverpool, you guys are winning the league. No, that's too lazy and it's too easy. But I will say this. I am not saying that we are poor. I'm not saying that Wirtz, I'm not saying that Wirtz wasn't of interest for us. But when the club realized all in, we can get 3 for 1, I get the business decision. And
the quality of the 1 is higher than the quality of the 3.
No, it's not.
Look,
Yes,
the bottom line is
have 0 league titles in their history.
Now you're doing too much, Hussam. I'm not going to say, and you better not be saying that Wirtz is going to outperform 3 players next season. No way. There's no way. If you want to say that Wirtz will outperform Cherki, sure, that's 1-to-1. But I'm getting 3 players that I need, that I honestly need in my
Has
midfield.
Haaland outperformed Diaz, Gakpo, and Nunes
this season, no.
generally, because Gakpo and Diaz were not bought this season.
Gakpo and Diaz, they weren't even all bought during the same time.
Has Haaland outperformed Gakpo, Diaz, and Nunes, ya habibi, since their time? Yes or no? Very easy.
Yeah, but they're not all starters. They're not all starters.
I know you have to go now. I appreciate
Yeah,
it, man.
big up guys. Take care of everybody on panel. Thank you,
man.
Sam.
Big
Love
up,
man.
big up.
Peace.
Yo,
Subscribe to our-
label him the gaslighter. Label him the gaslighter. You see how he's
No, you don't. No. Roberto knows ball. You wish you know ball as much as him. You're the
Yeah,
gaslighter.
see, Vader, see.
Ooh.
You're the gaslighter. No one
Yeah,
is
because he
gaslighter.
does Reddit. It's because he
The
does
bottom
Reddit.
line.
Can you answer
take care,
the
man.
fucking question honestly for once in your life? Because you're never honest. Has Haaland outperformed Gakpo, Diaz, and Nunes in their time in the Premier League?
So
The answer is yes, even from me as a Liverpool. Yes.
hold on. Haaland's been here for 3 seasons. This was his 3rd season. How long has those players that you're mentioning been here?
During their same time at Liverpool and City together.
Okay.
Since Haaland has walked into Manchester City,
Yes.
has he outperformed Gakpo, Diaz, and Nunes put together? Yes or no? Stop being disingenuous.
I honestly cannot say that for sure because I don't know what their goal, their GA output was this last season. Haaland in his injured season, I can't say whether he outperformed those 3. The first 2, yes, because he set a record his first season. He broke the record books. He did a madness. He was getting back-to-back trouble. I mean, 3-peats. He was getting hat tricks. He was doing a madness. Now, this last season, I cannot say Diaz, Gakpo, and Nunes whether he outperformed the 3.
Yeah, but they're not starters. They're not starters.
Erling Haaland this season, in a bad year, scored 22 goals in 31 games. Watch this. Chat.
Okay.
Everyone in the chat, all Liverpool fans in the chat. If you could give away Diaz, Gakpo, and Nunes and get Haaland back, put 1 in the chat if you're taking that trade. Put 1 in the chat right now if you're taking that trade, because Haaland has definitely outperformed those 3 put together.
See how he moves, Wolfie. You see what he's doing there?
Because the context. Again, he just misses context.
1 second, let me respond. Because when you
shit.
When you bought him from Dortmund and you paid the money that you paid for him, and we know you paid under the table and you gave his dad goal extension bonuses and shit like that. When you paid all the money, even LB mentioned it on stream yesterday, he gets almost 500 grand a week because of all the bonuses in his fucking contract.
Yeah.
That is worth it, despite the fact that it costs a lot, because he bangs in the goals. When I look at Gakpo, Nunes, and Luis Diaz, compared to Erling Haaland, even though you pay him more a week than all 3 of them put together, and he costs your club a lot of money because of bonuses, he's fucking worth it because of his quality. So
you can't do that comparison.
Can I finish, Wolfie? Please let me finish. So
Florian Wirtz stupid, man.
Florian Wirtz comes in. He's the Liverpool starting number 10 next season. Wirtz scores 17 goals and gets 14 assists. Liverpool win the Premier League and the Champions League. City challenge for the league, finished 3rd. Who made the more value for money signing? What? Now what?
Okay.
Would you rather have
I
had a
want to say
different?
one thing. Okay, I remember when Chelsea were trying to sign Elise, and then they didn't sign Elise, and all the Chelsea fans were saying it's great. We didn't ruin our wage structure. That's the same vibes I'm getting you from Vator saying, yeah, it's great. We didn't want Wirtz. We didn't want to spend that money all on one player. I think that's at the end of the day what Sam's getting at. It's a bit of cope.
No, he's not, because he's comparing different price tags. He's comparing different price tags.
That's
Listen,
it.
What Vader's saying is that the equivalent, this plus this plus this equals
never
that.
called me correct in his life. He's calling me correct.
Oh, okay.
He's
Well, it
been
must be
watching me
true
for
now.
3
This
years.
person I've never heard of in the chat
Man
is
has
saying
been
it must
watching
be
me for
true.
3
Yeah.
years. He has never made the statement Hussam is correct once in his life. He keeps
I can't
stating
give a
even he
fuck.
says I'm correct.
who cares?
Oh, if he says that, that's it. The point you're missing here is that what Vader's saying is 1 + 2 + 3 equals 1 on the value of the spend. What you're doing is you're saying 1 random value + 2 random value + 3 random value equals the Haaland value, which we don't even really know what it is, right? That's the thing. So you may as well have said, has Gomez and freaking Kelleher and another random player had a better or worse output than Haaland? Because you're not taking valuation into account.
I did.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I used
So
those
how much did Haaland cost City? Real numbers. Real
so
numbers.
I'm talking purely about the money. That's why I brought up when I was speaking.
Real numbers, not the 50 million crap.
Wait.
Wait,
Chill. When you're talking about, if you're talking about money, that's why when I first started speaking, I brought up McAllister and I brought up Gravenberg. Gravenberg cost 25. Rice cost 105. Caicedo cost 115. McAllister
Forget
cost
your
30.
old examples.
Yeah,
Let's stick to your example now.
No.
Yes,
You know what?
yes, I'm saying that if you even want to use just pure money, right? And you want to combine like 1 + 1 + 1. If you go Soboslai plus Endo plus like whatever, Gravenberg, it would cost less than a Caicedo. But a Caicedo for Liverpool Football Club would have made a bigger difference on the football pitch. Because
it's a straw man argument, bro. This is the thing. It's a straw man. That's not what he's saying. He's saying 1 + 2 + 3 equals 1 financially. That's what he's saying.
That's what I just did as well.
No, you didn't.
Let me
Yes,
ask
I
this.
did.
Let me ask this. Okay.
Soboslai is 60. Gravenberg is 25, and Endo is 10. So add them up. You get
Okay, so that's a
95 million.
better example to the first one you gave then.
Yes, because I'm talking about the player quality. In that analogy, I looked at the wages as an example. Because Haaland gets almost, since he's been at City. If you look at the 500 grand a week figure, you multiply that by 4 for monthly, he almost gets 2 million per month. So that's like 24 million a year.
He didn't come in getting that, though.
This is without all the other bonuses from winning trophies and blah, blah, blah. If you ask me as a Liverpool fan, would I rather have just Haaland and pay him that 24 million per year? Or would I rather have Gakpo, Nunes, and Diaz? I would say just Haaland. Why? Because a player that makes a difference is much better than 3 who every now and then can make a difference.
Let me say this real quick, because Hussam, just because he hasn't revealed what his ghost Twitter account is, he makes it seem like I've forgotten how he was moving when he was on Twitter. On Twitter, we had these conversations on Twitter X, and he'd have his spaces hosting football wars. This man talked about when he got Szoboszlai, when he got Gravenberch, when he also quote unquote lost out on Caicedo. And again, you want to talk about value and cost. You want to do your rebuild. If you only had Caicedo, and anytime you have an injury spell, it would have been problems. Oh, the way we play football. Oh, we know so-and-so is going to be hurt. I need coverage in my midfield, which you keep ignoring. You keep ignoring the fact that on how aged out my midfield is. So when I say I'd rather more being 3 players.
Which midfielders are you selling?
It's not about selling. It's about performance. No. It's not about selling. It's about performance. No, guys, it's not about selling. It's about performance.
Okay, who's in your current midfield? Names. You're talking about just pure quantity.
Kovacic.
Okay.
Bernardo Silva.
Nico Gonzalez. Rodri.
Rodri coming off of injury, and Nico Gonzalez. Okay,
so you've got 6 midfielders. You're telling me City went to Florian Wirtz to try sign him, knowing for a fact that they need quantity and not just quality. That's what you're saying.
No. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying City went to Wirtz to try and get him. When it went from here to here,
It's too expensive.
it
When
was like,
Wirtz said no, you mean? Report the news properly. When Wirtz said no, Jack, learn to accept it. I know it takes you a while because I said Caicedo rejected Liverpool. Lavia rejected Liverpool. It's okay. Everyone here has gotten rejected at some point in time.
You're used to it.
It happens. Zubamendi rejected Liverpool. It happens. Get over it. Say it as it is. Wirtz said no to Man City. It has nothing to do with price tag.
okay, so Wirtz says no to Man City, as
Okay.
well as
So-
realizing that
so
his
now
price.
stop there. Pitch stop. So you go try to sign Wirtz. Wirtz says no. How are you making it related to the price tag that City are this smart institution? So if Wirtz at that moment in time said yes to Man City, do you think he would be continuing with the negotiations or no?
Not if it exceeds what their evaluation is. Because we had the same thing. Hold on. Because you want to act like you're smart and you want to talk really calmly in front of the microphone. What did we do with Declan Rice? Sorry, Martin, I didn't want to have to bring you into this, but what did we
You
do
guys
with
bid
Declan Rice?
90 million, and he said thanks, but no thanks. I want to go to Arsenal, and then you guys went on a whole cope thing saying that you didn't want to spend 105 million. That's how I
Wow,
remember.
Martin, look at what he's doing again. 2
I
years
know,
later.
it's deja vu.
Same exact cope.
Okay.
Thank you for
so-
calling it out.
All right. So in both cases,
Fine, it's fine.
player-
Because you know
No,
you're
that's fine.
bullshit.
in both cases, the player has rejected City. In both
Yeah.
cases, the City can also recognize that they didn't want the player at that evaluation. Because again, Martin, if we threw in
So
that
you
bid,
did want the player after he said no to you.
no,
Yeah, but didn't you go and buy Calvin Phillips? Was that the year?
Hold on. No, Wolfie, 1 second. At the same time, if we did want the player and the player rejected our bid at that evaluation and you had to pay more for him, what are we saying here? It's still more than what City were willing to go in for the player for. Like,
When
what are
I
we
get
doing?
rejected at the club trying to pick up a chick, and she says no, I was like, she was going to be too expensive anyway. I was going to be
Yep.
paying
And on that note,
I
I
know-
know 3 super chats before we get out of here because I don't want to keep you guys for too long. Vator has been absolutely destroyed today, by the way. Like
No,
the
I
video,
haven't,
chat,
because you have the last
subscribe
word.
to the channel. Guys, we're not even at 300 likes. You have almost 1,000 people in here. Can we get the
Big up,
likes
Vader.
up, you fucking bums? Everyone, please like the video and subscribe right now. Anyway, let me just read these super chats before we get out of here. We're completely destroyed today.
I think
City
we're triggered.
bailed because he wanted LFC, not City Vator. Facts. Stop coping. Just accept Wirtz rejected you and move on. Yeah, I know it takes. Listen, it takes a while for it to sink in.
Can we accept both
for
things though?
paper games.
Can we be mature? Everybody on this panel, can we accept that he rejected City? Can we also recognize that City?
No, we
pivoted?
can't. Actually,
No. It can't be both.
why can't we accept that City's pivot is actually fortunate for them?
no.
why
I
can't
tell
we
you
do
why I
both?
can't accept that because
Why?
Wirtz rejected Manchester City. If I reverse that decision and I go like Wirtz accepts Manchester City, Wirtz wants to join to Manchester City. You and I both know when you stop gaslighting that City would have done their absolute best to get Wirtz to Manchester City because that's the long-term Kevin De Bruyne replacement, which means they would have been willing to pay the 120 million, considering they've paid the 100 million for fucking Jack Grealish from Aston Villa.
Okay, one last question, and then you can do your super chats. Are you happy with Liverpool's pivot from Jude Bellingham?
That's such a long time ago and it's such a complete.
Oh, such a long time ago.
Whoa, whoa,
Okay,
whoa,
are you
whoa,
happy
whoa.
with their pivot? Are you happy with what they've done being rejected from Jude?
Stop.
Okay, I'll stop.
Jude Bellingham was literally 3 years ago. Number one. Number two, that was a different manager. Number three, you're looking at it from a 10 perspective. Klopp doesn't even play with a 10. Jude Bellingham would have played RCM in the Klopp system.
You see this cope? You see this cope?
Yeah,
What
because
the fuck?
Haaland was
What
how
the-
long ago when he used Haaland as the example? It was okay to use Haaland as the example?
So Haaland went from where to where? Striker to striker.
Yeah, but how many years ago?
That's not the point.
No, it is the point. When you
That's
said
not
Jude
the
Bellingham
point.
was 3 years ago, it
I
is the
did not
point.
use Haaland as a pivot example. I used
No.
Haaland as a
You
quality
used the time frame as the example.
Yeah, I used it as a quality example.
So
He's not
your
talking
club,
about Bellingham quality. And yes, if he's talking about Bellingham quality, then Wirtz is top 2, top 3 minimum attacking midfielders in the world.
so let me understand this. Your club wouldn't be in for Wirtz if you had Jude here?
Probably couldn't afford it.
I can't say that for a fact. I don't know that.
Oh, because you're telling me,
No, because
you
then
had
actually
Klopp.
you're talking about a domino effect that changes the whole thing. because
That's
if
what
we-
you do all the time,
Wait,
though.
wait,
You
wait.
do this
So if we
whole
bought
domino effect
Bellingham-
all the time.
Yeah, Habibi, wait. If we bought Bellingham, then the summer after maybe we wouldn't have signed McAllister, Soboslai, and blah blah blah.
Okay.
So which made no, because you're laughing because you're not talking any sense here. So you're saying, okay, so Bellingham said yes, he joined us. The summer after that happened, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Endo. Which one of them happens? Which one of them doesn't? How am I supposed to know?
Oh, okay, so he can say the same thing. If they didn't buy Gonzalez in January, would they have gone in more for Wirtz?
Yes, because Gonzalez is a different position.
Okay, so then it is a money thing if you agree with that.
No, Gonzalez is a different position, I'm saying. I'm not talking about money.
I'm talking about midfielder.
You didn't get
Wirtz and Cherki went mid for mid today. Wirtz created the most chances on the pitch. He was definitely not mid. Cherki had a stinker and hooked. Pep might leave Vator if the squad keeps growing, is what Omar Rushdie is saying. Yep. This whole discussion is pointless until we see the links and signings after the Club World Cup. 130 million saved on Wirtz can mean 2 elite signings after. Example, Rodrygo. Yeah, but what if Liverpool make great signings after as well? Because guess what? We're going to sell Diaz.
Just sign him first, man. We're
going to sign him. Don't worry.
I say inshallah, man.
Okay, if we don't sign Wirtz, I'll bring you here and I'll give you a 1-hour clown show by yourself. Just keep clowning Liverpool, and I'll just sit here.
I don't mind Liverpool, bro. I don't want to clown. I'll clown you.
I'm glad you're not threatening to shave
Our business is not done. End of the day, it's come down to this. If Wirtz was going anywhere but Liverpool, they'd be up his big time. Whoever we sign is overpriced, bad, etc. Yes, because guess what? No one told me Hussam McAllister is more value for money than Caicedo 2 years ago. No one told me Gravenberch is more value for money than Rice 2 years ago. No one even brought up this dialogue or this debate. It was Liverpool are cheapskates. Liverpool have no money. No one wants to live in Liverpool. Blah, 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 blah. Now the reverse is not happening. No one's going like, no one wants to live in Manchester. No one wants to live in Bavaria. No one wants to live in Madrid. No one's saying that stupid shit. It is what it is. Wirtz had zero intention to go to City, by the way. Zero. Fact. He rejected Man City.
Oh, this Jack H in the chat. He's his best mate. He knows all that. Yeah, facts.
Actually, we got a new report even that he said.
Oh, are you going to send me another tweet with someone who's got 10 followers again? Yeah.
3 different reporters came out and said that he said no. To actually,
he sent me. I'm not even lying. A message 2 a.m. a tweet. Some guy's got like 10 followers. You see, Wirtz never wanted to go to City.
You're such a liar. How does Bild have 10 followers?
Someone else.
This is for Marco.
Bild does not have 10 followers. Yeah. Anyway, City needed a bigger rebuild than they realized. It would have been possible with spending. It wouldn't have been possible with spending 130 million for Wirtz. They need blah and blah and blah and blah. The thing that you just do not understand is if you go spend 120 million for Wirtz, first of all, you remove Cherki now, so you have Florian Wirtz. So Florian Wirtz is your 10. Instead of you buying Livramento for 80, you'd buy the Porto kid for 40 because your quality level for the number 10 is extremely high.
So you can talk in hypotheticals about other teams, but not yours, yeah?
Something that Martin mentioned that's so true that no one has rebutted because they cannot. When you lose a player like Kevin De Bruyne, you need to include in the team someone of that caliber, of that ilk, who can come in and be a direct impact immediately and make you better. And
that's bollocks.
That is so crap. That is absolute crap. Because when have we seen
exactly who replaced Henry again? Who replaced Henry?
No one.
Okay, there you go. So when has a world class player been replaced like for like? Who replaced Ronaldo at Man U? Who replaced Ronaldo?
I don't think Man
City. And they've regretted that decision till today.
Yeah, so Martin's point doesn't stand because it's never happened.
No, it does stand.
Very rarely happens.
Sterling was phenomenal at Liverpool.
They don't grow on trees, man. They don't grow on trees.
Sterling was phenomenal at Liverpool. Mane replaced him.
They don't grow on trees, bro. Look, you can name a handful at best.
That's why Martin's point is even truer, because paying 130 million pounds for someone that doesn't grow on trees is better than doing 20 million and waiting to see if he could get to that level.
And then saying you prefer.
So you're putting Wirtz on De Bruyne's level. Yeah? You're putting Wirtz on De Bruyne's level, just for the record.
Yes, he can be that level.
No. Not can be. Is. Prime De Bruyne that you're telling me they need to replace, you're telling me Wirtz is that prime De Bruyne right here today.
I don't think anyone else.
Prime De Bruyne is not leaving City.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so then they don't need to replace it. You can't have it both ways.
No,
if Prime De Bruyne,
they need someone to become Prime De Bruyne, which is Wirtz.
No. But do they need the person to walk through the door as Prime De Bruyne? That's why Martin's point can't stand. Because which one is it?
And
I
you
never
hear
mentioned
how Hussam speaks.
every
of
player
Wirtz.
has a ceiling. Cherki cannot become De Bruyne under any circumstances. Wirtz can.
You hear how
But
he talks
is
about
he?
Wirtz? Wirtz is the next KDB. That's how we're going to scrutinize him. That's how we will be evaluating him and rating him moving forward. Your own
what
words.
people who watch the Bundesliga
That's how people
say.
talk about him, not me.
Yeah.
I don't.
Me and Wolfie work with
I'm
Ashraf,
talking
who
about him like
watches Ashraf watches Bundesliga religiously, literally, and
Okay.
and Wolfie knows this. Even when he was linked to City, he was like Wirtz could literally even outperform KDB.
No, he called him beyond world class as well. Let's get some context.
Oh, that's
Currently,
a
he
man
said
No,
it.
that was Bellingham. That was Bellingham beyond.
Oh, sorry,
Class
it's Bellingham. You're right.
That was
My
Bellingham.
bad.
When Aguero left, Gabriel Jesus played false nine. Yeah. Well, what does this have to do with anything? What does this have to do with
I don't
anything?
know.
Also, that's factually not true because Kevin De Bruyne played false nine and Gabriel Jesus played right wing, which is what City fans have mocked Arsenal for the last 4 years.
No. Well, before we were able to replace Aguero, we had Gundogan playing false nine, we had KDB playing false nine, we had Jesus playing false nine, we had Foden playing false nine. It wasn't just one player.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Anyway, listen, guys, we're gonna wrap up the stream here before Vator increases my blood pressure anymore with his bullshit takes. Love to all of you guys. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Vator Games TV in the description. Forest Fan TV in the description.
Before you go, I just make a joke here. There's a guy, George Carlin, famous comedian, right? And someone asked him if he'd ever had sex with a 10. And he said, no. But one night I effed 5 2s. And that's where you are right now, Vader. You're talking about your 5 2s instead of your 10.
Better than going home alone.
I accept that from anyone else except for you saying you prefer Sesko. So let's not do that.
He's going home with the 2, man. Only one of them. Not even 5.
It's mad. It's mad. Anyway, listen, big up to all of you guys locked in, guys. Please hit the like button. Please do subscribe. Big up to all you amazing, incredible people. This stream is going to take you over to Sheik TV. He's live right now. Let's go help him out. Up and coming channel. Go tell him Hussam Raid over there. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, inshallah. Peace out.